Chapter 233. In the secret chamber of the Celestial Master Hall, Ling Xiao saw the recipe for the soul return pill. To be more precise, it was an ancient piece of jade that could be preserved for countless years after being imprinted with spiritual energy. Soul return grass, jade crystal, golden soul fruit. This is indeed the recipe for the soul return pill. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. Moreover, he sensed a familiar aura from the ancient jade. The information about the pure young primordial spirit in the handwritten letter was actually left behind by a senior from the Changshan sect. It was at least 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. Where did you get this ancient jade? Ling Xiao suppressed his excitement and asked Pure Young Spiritual Master and Ling Juechen. We found this ancient jade in one of the mystical grounds. Unfortunately, the secret realm was enveloped by a powerful seal, and we couldn't break the seal at all. We only managed to obtain some treasures from the periphery, and one of them was this piece of ancient jade. Ling Juechen didn't hide anything from Ling Xiao and smiled. Secret realm. Ling Xiao's lips curled up. If he guessed correctly, the secret realm that Ling Juechen and Pure Young Spiritual Master were talking about was the Longevity Secret Realm. The Longevity Secret Realm was a space that Ling Xiao and Jin Sei had created together. It was a training ground for the disciples of the Changshan sect, and contained many treasures of the Changshan sect. After 10,000 years, the Changshan sect had weakened to such a state. Not only was the Epiphany tree almost destroyed, but the Longevity Secret Realm was also missing. Ling Xiao had planned to relocate the Longevity Secret Realm after he became stronger, and take the treasures inside to strengthen the Changshan sect. However, he didn't expect to sense the aura of the Longevity Secret Realm from the ancient jade. The secret realm is in the Beast Mountain range, but the seal is too powerful and can't be broken. Most people don't know about this. Only me, Zhu Chun, and His Majesty know about this. We all speculate that perhaps only by breaking through to the noble plane can we break through the seal. That's why we want to refine the soul returning pill as soon as possible. If a treasure like the soul return pill can be found in the outer area, the secret realm must be extraordinary. However, we're also afraid that things will change over time, so we want to refine the soul return pill as soon as possible to reach the noble realm. Sage Pure Young said slowly. If I follow the ancient jade's method of refining the soul return pill, there shouldn't be any problems. When do you plan to start refining pills? Ling Xiao nodded and asked. Of course, the sooner the better. All the spirit herbs have been prepared. If you feel ready, then we can begin now. A hint of urgency appeared in Zhu Chen's eyes. Good. I'm fine with it. Ling Xiao said with a smile. The method recorded in the ancient jade was actually very simple. The pure young primordial spirit was favored by the fate of heaven and earth. It contained pure young divine power, and had a mysterious connection with heaven and earth. It could communicate with the will of heaven and earth, and infuse it into the resurrection pill. Therefore, the pure young primordial spirit was equivalent to a medium. It poured the will of heaven and earth into the essence of the spirit medicine, and finally condensed the true soul return pill. If there was a true alchemy grandmaster who could communicate with the will of heaven and earth, and refine the soul returning pill with supreme power, it wouldn't be so troublesome. In Ling Xiao's opinion, if Zhu Chen and Sage Pure Young wanted to refine the soul return pill, the pure young primordial spirit method was the correct choice. Unfortunately, Ling Xiao didn't have a pure young primordial spirit, so this method wouldn't work for him. However, I have a request. Ling Xiao looked at Zhu Chen and Sage Pure Young and said, What request? The soul return pill must be refined by me. The two of you mustn't interfere. Otherwise, we'll definitely fail. Ling Xiao said resolutely. What? You'll refine it? Zhu Chen and Sage Pure Young were stunned, and a trace of shock appeared in their eyes. No. Ling Xiao, you don't know, but the spirit herbs for the soul return pill are too precious. We've been searching for them for a long time, but we've only managed to gather 2 portions. If you fail, then we won't have the slightest chance. Don't let your emotions affect your decisions. Zhu Chen hurriedly shook his head in refusal. What a joke. Zhu Chen and Sage Pure Young were both peerless alchemy grandmasters, but even they weren't confident in refining the soul return pill. No matter how talented Ling Xiao was, he definitely couldn't compare to the two of them. Boom. At that moment, Ling Xiao's body emitted a mighty spiritual wave. It was as vast and majestic as the ocean, and incomparably pure. This is the spiritual power of a high-grade alchemy grandmaster? Sage Pure Yang's body trembled, and his originally calm expression changed. His eyes were filled with shock. This spiritual power was so majestic and pure that even a peerless alchemy grandmaster like him felt slightly suppressed. Although Ling Xiao's spiritual power was only at the level of a high-grade alchemy grandmaster, it was incomparably pure, without the slightest impurity. It was even purer than that of a peerless alchemy grandmaster. But how old was Ling Xiao? A 16-year-old youth was actually stronger than an old man like him, who had lived for over 100 years. How was he supposed to live? Even if Ling Xiao had started cultivating alchemy in his mother's womb, he probably wouldn't have such terrifying spiritual power. You brat. You're really a monster. Zhu Chen's face was also filled with shock. In the end, he laughed bitterly. Ling Xiao, tell me honestly, for you to undergo such a terrifying transformation in just 3 years, did you become the disciple of some incredible person? And a treasure like the minor soul refining technique isn't something that just anyone can take out. Zhu Chen asked, looking deeply at Ling Xiao. That's right. Ling Xiao nodded and smiled. I naturally couldn't have such good fortune in the longevity sect. A year ago, I met an old man with a white beard. He said that my spiritual power was naturally strong and was suitable for alchemy, so he imparted all of his alchemy knowledge to me. The minor soul refining technique was also imparted to me by him. Furthermore, he even refined a supreme Tao pill for me to cleanse my marrow. That's why I was able to be reborn. And my cultivation soared by leaps and bounds in a short period of time. Ling Xiao spouted nonsense, following Zhu Chen's words and pushing all the blame to that groundless master of his. As expected, Ling Zhu Chen and Sage Pure Yang looked at each other and nodded inwardly. If he didn't have a complete inheritance, no matter how monstrous Ling Xiao's talent was, it would be impossible for him to undergo such a huge transformation in such a short period of time. And Ling Xiao possessed a pure yang primordial spirit, so it was reasonable for that senior to think highly of him. Although Ling Zhu Chen and Sage Pure Yang didn't really understand the meaning of a pure yang primordial spirit, they knew that those who possessed a pure yang primordial spirit were definitely 1 in a million. It was no small matter. A supreme Tao pill that cleanses one's marrow. That senior must be a peerless alchemy master. I wonder what his title is? Chapter 234. Master didn't tell me his name, but he usually likes to drink and has a huge gourd hanging from his waist. He doesn't seem very dignified and likes good wine and good food. He roams the world and his whereabouts are uncertain. Master only told me that he would come and find me when the time is right. Ling Xiao spouted nonsense, directly following Master Chun Yang's words. In any case, Master Chun Yang couldn't possibly find that groundless master to verify it. A grandmaster alchemist with a huge gourd hanging from his waist, and who likes good wine and good food? Could it be that person? Master Chun Yang's body trembled, and a trace of excitement appeared in his eyes. Who is it? Zhu Chen asked doubtfully. Do you remember the muddle-headed old man I told you about before? A few decades ago, it was under his guidance that I broke through to become a high-grade Grandmaster Alchemist. He's the most mysterious Grandmaster Alchemist in the entire 8 Desolates region. And you could say that he's the strongest Grandmaster Alchemist. I once saw him refine a supreme-grade pill with the fire in his palm without using a pill cauldron. Master Chun Yang seemed a little excited as he took a deep breath. Coincidentally, the muddle-headed old man also likes good wine and good food. He has a huge gourd hanging from his waist, and likes to travel everywhere. I only saw him once. It's actually the muddle-headed old man? No wonder you changed so much, Ling Xiao. It's really your fortune to be valued by him. Zhu Chen also became excited at the mention of the muddle-headed old man. He looked at Ling Xiao with envy. It was said that the muddle-headed old man had become a Grandmaster Alchemist 100 years ago. He was the most mysterious person in the entire 8 Desolates region. Who would have thought that Ling Xiao would take him as his master? Even Master Chun Yang and Ling Zhu Chen were a little envious of such a great fortune. The muddle-headed old man? What the hell? There's actually such a person? Ling Zhao's expression was a little strange as he thought to himself. He didn't think that a random person he made up would be mistaken by Master Chun Yang. However, Ling Xiao was also a little curious about Master Chun Yang. In the Eight Desolates region, anyone who could break through to become a Grandmaster Alchemist was definitely an outstanding person. My master once told me that I have a pure young primordial spirit, and that I'm blessed by the heavens and earth. Therefore, even though I'm only an upper-grade alchemy master, I'm still stronger than many peerless grade alchemy masters. I don't dare to say anything else, but if it's refining the soul-returning pill, my chances will still be higher because I've seen Master refine the soul-returning pill before. Ling Xiao said with a smile. There was a hint of pride in his eyes. Although he was only an upper-level alchemist, Ling Xiao had the insight and realm of a supreme alchemist. He still had a certain degree of confidence in refining the resurrection pill. Since that's the case, I'll leave Ling Xiao to you. Ling Ju-chun and Taoist Master Pure Yang exchanged a glance, and in the end, they both agreed. Don't worry, I won't let you down. Ling Xiao smiled and heaved a sigh of relief. The reason why he wanted to concoct the resurrection pill himself was because it was extremely special. The difficulty of concocting a supreme-grade treasure pill was comparable to a supreme-grade Dao pill. Most importantly, when concocting the pill, the will of the heavens and earth would descend. The will of the heavens and earth could cleanse one's soul and refine the yin energy. So how could Ling Xiao miss such an opportunity? Moreover, if Ling Ju-chun and Taoist Master Pure Yang were to concoct the resurrection pill, they would definitely fail with Ling Zhao's fake Yang Yuan spirit. It's actually a supreme-grade treasure artifact? Uncle Ling, this pill cauldron of yours is pretty good. Ling Xiao said with a smile when he saw the purple pill cauldron in the center of the secret chamber. The pill cauldron was over 3 feet tall, with 3 legs and 2 handles. It was round and simple, and there was a faint ancient aura around it. Runes covered the cauldron, and purple light was abundant. The medicinal fragrance was very faint, but it was very pure. There were 2 ancient characters carved on the cauldron. Purple Dawn. It was a supreme-grade treasure Purple Dawn cauldron. Ling Xiao could tell with a single glance that this Purple Dawn cauldron was at least 1,000 years old. Ling Ju-chun had probably obtained it from the ruins. I also obtained this from the secret realm. Ling Xiao, take a look and see if it's convenient. Ling Ju-chun said with a smile. A trace of curiosity appeared in both his and Sage Pure Yang's eyes. Although Ling Zhao's master was very likely a muddle-headed old man, they had never seen Ling Zhao's level of alchemy before. They couldn't help but be curious and worried. All right. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and walked to the Purple Dawn cauldron, then struck out with his palm. Whoa. The Purple Dawn cauldron let out a crisp hum, and immediately stood up. Ling Zhao's palm was like the wind, constantly striking various parts of the Purple Dawn cauldron. The Purple Dawn cauldron continued to let out sounds, and in the end, a layer of purple light spread out, appearing incomparably pure. Boom! Purple light spewed out from the mouth of the cauldron, rising over 3 feet into the air. The entire secret chamber was illuminated by the purple light. 3 feet and 6 inches of purple light. It can be considered an excellent pill cauldron. Not bad. Ling Xiao said with a nod. This is the art of shaking cauldron? Sage Pure Yang's eyes flashed. Seeing Ling Zhao's move, his gaze instantly became serious. The art of shaking cauldron was a technique used by pill refiners to examine the sound, color, structure, and runes of a pill cauldron. It was extremely difficult to cultivate, and although Sage Pure Yang also knew it, he couldn't do it as easily as Ling Xiao. Seeing Ling Zhao's move, Sage Pure Yang and Ling Ju-chun immediately looked at Ling Xiao with solemn expressions. Very good, let's begin. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and immediately sat down cross-legged in front of the Purple Dawn cauldron. Refining the soul-returning pill required a total of over 100 types of spirit herbs, most of which were incomparably precious and peerless spirit herbs. In order to collect these spirit herbs, Ling Ju-chun and Sage Pure Yang had put in a lot of effort. Every spirit herb was stored in a warm jade box, which could effectively seal the spirit energy and prevent the essence of the spirit herbs from leaking out. Rise! Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and a scarlet light shot out from his mouth. Like a flaming dragon, it instantly enveloped the purple dawn cauldron. Wang. The purple dawn cauldron trembled slightly, and immediately rose from the ground, emitting a hum. Purple light filled the air, and the runes on the cauldron were instantly activated by Ling Xiao, beginning to slowly rotate. The five-colored true devouring fire flowed out of Ling Xiao's body, forming a five-colored screen of light that enveloped the purple dawn cauldron. This is a heaven and earth spirit fire? Sage Pure Yang and Ling Juchen's eyes widened at the sight of Ling Xiao's heaven-devouring fire. The two of them had also refined a type of earth fire, so they were naturally very familiar with heaven and earth spirit fire. It hasn't reached the level of a heaven flame yet, but it's still a top-grade earth fire, much better than the ones we refined. It seems like the muddle-headed old man also gave it to him. Ling Juchen sighed. At this moment, the true devouring fire was flowing with 5 colors, and there was a faint trace of a heaven flame's aura. This was because it had swallowed and refined the blazing sun sky fire seed, and there was a faint trace of a powerful heaven's might. Ling Xiao knew that this was the beginning of the true devouring fire's transformation. As long as it continued to devour powerful heaven and earth spirit fire, or supreme fire attribute treasures, it would quickly rise to the level of a heaven flame. Surrounded by the true devouring fire, the purple dawn cauldron trembled, and purple qi surged. Multicolored light gushed out of the cauldron's mouth, as if it was surrounded by a river of stars. It was incomparably beautiful and resplendent. Refine. Ling Xiao shouted a single word, and hundreds of spirit herbs floated out of the jade box, turning into streaks of light that flew into the purple dawn cauldron. What? Ling Juchun and Sage Pure Yang's expressions changed drastically. Chapter 235. Ling Juchun and Spiritual Master Pure Sun had never seen Ling Xiao refine pills before, so when they saw Ling Xiao throw all the spiritual herbs into the cauldron, their expressions changed instantly. One had to know that although the two of them were peerless alchemists, they still refined spiritual herbs one by one. How could they be like Ling Xiao, who threw all the spiritual herbs into the cauldron at once? Spiritual herbs all had different attributes. If different spiritual herbs were mixed together without special methods, the cauldron would easily explode. Not to mention, with so many spiritual herbs mixed together, the cauldron would definitely explode. Ling Juchen and Spiritual Master Pure Sun smiled bitterly. It seemed like this cauldron of soul-returning pills was finished. But in the next moment, the two of them were stunned. Inside the purple cloud cauldron, purple light surged, as dazzling as the galaxy. Hundreds of spiritual herbs fell into the purple cloud cauldron, and were swept up by the true devouring fire, instantly turning into pure spiritual herb essence. Like stars, they fell into the purple cloud cauldron. Huge stars rotated, all formed from spiritual herb essence. The purple cloud cauldron seemed to have turned into a galaxy world. The spiritual herb essences of different attributes rotated, and wisps of medicinal fragrance filled the air, forming a strange balance between them. There was no sign of the cauldron exploding at all. Seeing this scene, Juchen and Spiritual Master Pure Sun were dumbfounded. They had never heard of anyone being able to refine hundreds of spiritual herbs at once. This was simply a miracle. Roar, 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 roar. 5 clear dragon roars rang out, and in the purple galaxy world, the true devouring fire's 5-colored light spread out. In an instant, it split into 5 flame dragons, white, green, black, red, and yellow, and rushed into the galaxy world. Boom! The purple cloud cauldron instantly exploded. Endless divine light gushed out, and the huge stars formed from spiritual herb essences actually exploded at this moment. A storm swept out in all directions, dazzling everyone. The 5 flame dragons weaved in the storm, and wisps of fiery light lingered, turning into mysterious runes that merged with the spiritual herb essences. It was as if lightning had exploded, and all the spiritual herb essences gathered together, finally turning into an incomparably resplendent spiritual pearl. The 5 flame dragons revolved around the spiritual pearl, and constantly spewed out 5-colored flames that merged with the pearl. 5 dragons playing with pearls. This was the fire-controlling technique that Ling Xiao had comprehended after the heaven-devouring spirit seed was perfected. It used the power of creation to nurture the essence of spirit herbs, and refined supreme treasure pills. Although the attributes of the hundreds of spiritual herbs were different, they were tempered by the true devouring fire and formed a miraculous balance. This way, not only did it greatly reduce the time needed to refine the spirit medicine, but the refined spirit medicine essence would also be purer. It's the 5 dragons playing with pearls technique. Looks like this 5 dragons playing with pearls technique was also taught to him by the muddle-headed old man. Spiritual Master Pure Yang's body trembled, and a hint of shock appeared in his eyes. Then it was replaced by envy and passion. The 9 dragons playing with pearls and 10 suns across the sky were the 2 most powerful fire-controlling techniques in the world. They were created by the Sky-Devouring Supreme and the Medicine Celestial Venerable 10,000 years ago. These 2 great fire-controlling techniques were the dream fire-controlling techniques of almost every alchemist in the world. Now that they saw this legendary fire-controlling technique, Zhu Chen and Spiritual Master Pure Yang felt that it was unreal. Looks like we've really underestimated Ling Xiao. If he can't refine the soul-returning pill, the 2 of us have even less hope. Zhu Chen's eyes revealed a hint of regret. Buzz. The purple cloud cauldron buzzed and trembled. The spirit bead was dazzling like the sun, emitting a mysterious light. 5 fire dragons circled around it, constantly spitting out fiery light that merged into the spirit bead. The spirit bead's medicinal fragrance was rich, and mysterious runes began to spread out. This was the process of nurturing the pill, nurturing the spirit of the pill and nurturing the essence of the pill. If it was an ordinary spirit pill, this process might be completed very quickly. However, the soul-returning pill was no ordinary spirit pill. The soul-returning pill here didn't refer to the resurrection of one's soul after death. Instead, it referred to the fusion of one's soul with heaven and earth, returning to one's origin, and fusing with the will of heaven and earth to become a supreme noble. The spirit bead's light became more and more resplendent. Ling Xiao focused all his mental energy on the spirit bead in front of him. His hands formed seals continuously, guiding the 5 fire dragons to nurture the essence of the spirit medicine. The process of nurturing the pill lasted for 3 days. After 3 days without sleep and rest, even with Ling Xiao's strong mental energy, he was still somewhat haggard and exhausted. 2 dark circles appeared under his eyes, but he was still incomparably excited. This was the first time Ling Xiao had gone all out to refine a treasure pill since his rebirth. A special pill like the soul-returning pill had stimulated his fighting spirit. The spirit bead in the purple cloud cauldron had become incomparably hot, like a rising sun, dazzling and resplendent. 3 days ago, the spirit bead was only the size of a longan, but now it was the size of a human head. It floated up and down in the purple cloud cauldron, emitting purple smoke and surrounded by 5 dragons, looking incomparably mysterious. This caused Zhu Chen and Chunyang's spiritual master to watch for 3 days and 3 nights. In these 3 days, they had benefited greatly from the process of Ling Xiao refining the soul-returning pill, and their admiration for Ling Xiao grew. Rumble. Suddenly, the spirit bead in the purple cloud cauldron swelled to its limit. Runes filled it and flames rose. In an instant, it exploded. Boom. Ling Xiao struck out with his palm, and it was like a divine mountain pressing down. The divine light was enveloped by a barrier, and as the 5 dragons slowly dissipated, it faintly transformed into a mysterious flowing liquid. It was sparkling and translucent, untainted by even a speck of dust, like nectar. Condense. Ling Xiao roared and his eyes flashed. Several runes instantly flew out of his palm and fused into the liquid. Then the purple cloud cauldron shone brightly, and 9 resplendent streaks of light shot into the sky. Rumble. At the same time, the void also trembled. Thunder seemed to explode in the sky, and dark clouds covered the sky. A mysterious power, accompanied by a strange light, descended from the inexplicable void and rushed toward the 9 streams of light. Is this the power of the will of the world? Looks like the pill will be formed soon. Zhu Chen and Chunyang's spiritual master were shocked, and their eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. Rumble. The mysterious energy contained a vast heavenly might. It was powerful, mysterious, and incomparably majestic. It slowly enveloped the 9 streaks of light, and at the same time, enveloped Ling Xiao. A good chance. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up, and he hurriedly used the heaven-devouring secret technique to devour the mysterious will. Rumble. The power of the will of the world was formless and formless. It was formed by a mysterious law, and Ling Xiao guided it to himself. There his majestic spiritual sea began to boil. Strands of Yin soul energy were refined, and his spiritual power began to grow at a speed visible to the naked eye. Ling Xiao felt comfortable all over, as if he was soaking in a hot spring. It was warm and comfortable, and all the pores on his body opened up. It was indescribably comfortable. He felt that in this short period of time, another 1% of his Yin soul energy had been refined, and his spiritual sea had begun to surge. Chapter 236. What a pity! If it could last for 2 hours, I might have been able to cultivate the pure yang primordial spirit earlier. Ling Xiao sighed as a look of pity appeared in his eyes. However, this was already a huge gain. Just this short moment of absorbing the will of heaven and earth saved Ling Xiao a lot of trouble when breaking through to the noble realm. Whoosh! 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 After absorbing the will of heaven and earth, the 9 streams of light in the sky became simple and dull. However, they gained a lot of spirituality and wanted to fly away. Come back! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and he grabbed the air. The 9 streams of light turned into 9 pills the size of a longan and flew into the Wuxia cauldron. Boom! The Wuxia cauldron shone brightly and then slowly quieted down. A mysterious force began to grow in the Wuxia cauldron, growing stronger and stronger. I've finally succeeded. Once the willpower in these 9 soul return pills is completely refined, the soul return pills can be consumed. Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief and stood up slowly. A feeling of extreme exhaustion washed over him. The will of heaven and earth was extremely mysterious. Although it had been integrated into the soul return pills, it still needed to be nurtured in the cauldron to completely digest the will of heaven and earth. Within the Wuxia cauldron, purple gas could be seen boiling. The 9 longan-sized soul return pills emitted a golden light, like the brightest of night pearls. They floated up and down within the cauldron, absorbing spiritual essence. Furthermore, there were traces of mysterious force flowing on the surface of the soul return pills. It was very strange. It really is the soul return pill. It's exactly as recorded in the recipe. My friend, thank you so much. Pure Yang spiritual master's eyes were filled with excitement. He then took a deep breath and said to Ling Xiao solemnly, Ling Xiao, don't worry. With these soul return pills, we'll definitely be able to break through to the noble realm. You'll have a battle to the death with the Wanshou sect in 20 days. If those bastards dare to go back on their word, I won't let them off. Ling Juchen's eyes shone with a sharp light as he smiled. After breaking through to the noble realm, he would have the combat strength to look down on the 8 Desolates region. By then, even the Wanshou sect would have to treat him with caution. After all, there were too few noble realm experts in the 8 Desolation region. Even in the 5 major martial arts holy lands, there were not many. You're welcome. I'll have to trouble you guys for the next pill gestation process. I can't hold on any longer. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He felt exhausted all over. His spiritual energy was almost completely depleted, and even walking was a little shaky. After all, as an upper-grade alchemy grandmaster, he had spent too much effort to refine the supreme-grade soul-restoring pill. He had already reached his limit. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged on the bed in the secret room. He took out the spirit crystals and began to regulate his breathing and cultivate. Rolling spirit qi enveloped him. His spirit observed the void and began to recover bit by bit. Only after a day and a night did Ling Xiao completely recover. His eyes regained their clarity. Within the secret chamber, Ling Juchun and Master Pure Yang stared at the soul return pill in the purple cloud cauldron with dark circles under their eyes. They were extremely excited. I've already fused a small part of it. It seems that in 2 or 3 days, the soul returning pill will be ready. Ling Xiao looked at the situation in the Wuxia cauldron and smiled. Ling Xiao, you're awake? Just nice, I have something to tell you. His Majesty wants to see you. Ling Juchen looked at Ling Xiao and smiled faintly. The king of the great wilderness, Xia Huang? Ling Xiao was taken aback. His eyes glinted. He didn't have a good impression of this king of the great wilderness. Ling Zhen was known as Xia Huang's right-hand man when he was alive. He had contributed greatly to the expansion of the great wilderness ancient country. However, after Ling Zhen's disappearance, not only did Xia Huang not let Ling Xiao inherit the title of demon-subduing monarch, he even ignored him. This caused Ling Xiao to suffer greatly in the past 3 years. That was why Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi were so arrogant and despotic. If Ling Xiao hadn't awakened his innate intelligence and taken over his body with the true spirit of the heaven-devouring supreme, he would have been killed long ago. Hence, half of the blame for Ling Xiao's previous predicament was Xia Huang. Ling Xiao, don't blame His Majesty. These 3 years His Majesty has always been in closed-door cultivation. The court affairs have always been handled by the first prince and the 9th prince together. Hence, the matter of demon-subduing monarch's title should be decided by the first prince privately. He doesn't know either. Ling Juqin knew what Ling Xiao was thinking and sighed softly. Doesn't know? He's the dignified king of the great wilderness. Even if he's in closed-door cultivation, how can he possibly not know anything about the major matters in the court? I think it's not that he doesn't know, but that he doesn't want to know, right? No matter, I also want to see this king of the great wilderness anyway. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. A trace of sharpness flickered in his eyes. Sigh. Ling Xiao, your personality is the same as your father. Also so stubborn. Qingqing is waiting for you outside. You go to the great wilderness hall with her. His Majesty is waiting for you there. Ling Juqin said with a bitter smile. He knew the knot in Ling Xiao's heart, but he didn't know how to console Ling Xiao either. After all, Xia Huang was indeed in the wrong in this matter. Ling Xiao nodded and turned to leave the secret chamber. Outside the Celestial Master Hall, a beautiful figure in green appeared in front of Ling Xiao. Dressed in a green dress, her figure was very tall and slender. Her curves were exquisite, and she was very voluptuous. Her skin was snow-white and translucent, and her long black hair was tied behind her head. Her face was very exquisite, especially that pair of large soul-stealing eyes. It made people feel as if their souls were hooked the moment they saw them. Every time he saw Ling Qingqing, Ling Xiao couldn't help but think of the words, the world's stunner. Ling Qingqing's charm was already enchanting to the bones. Every move she made exuded a charm that made people's hearts sway. Oh, isn't this our master Ling Xiao? I didn't expect that you hid your abilities so well. You're actually also an alchemy master. How dare you lie to elder sister? You're itching for a beating, aren't you? The moment Ling Qingqing saw Ling Xiao, she immediately smiled slightly. But there was a trace of ill intent in her smile. Ling Xiao immediately sweated and hurriedly said, Elder sister Qingqing, how would I dare to lie to you? Didn't you not ask either? Moreover, I Ling Xiao am a heaven-blessed martial artist. Not only do I possess peerless martial arts, but I'm also an alchemy, artifact and formation master. I'm known as a godlike man. What's a mere alchemy worth? Ling Xiao pretended to be arrogant and said very cockily, A godlike man? Will you die if you don't brag? Ling Qingqing couldn't help but burst into laughter. Then, she rolled her eyes at Ling Xiao, exuding boundless charm. However, I really didn't expect that you could actually refine the resurrection pill. If my father didn't say that your mental strength is more special, I would really think that your alchemy skills have surpassed my father and immortal Chunyang. Compared to you, that sun-moon star-sex Zhao Ritian is just trash. Ling Qingqing's eyes revealed a trace of shock as she lamented. The young man in front of her was becoming more and more unfathomable. He was clearly a 16-year-old young man, but he was so monstrous. Chapter 237. Sister Qingqing, why does Xia Huang want to see me? Ling Xiao looked at Ling Qingqing and asked slowly. I don't know the exact reason, but it should be related to the 8 Desolation secret area. Ling Qingqing said. 8 Desolation secret area? Ling Zhao's eyes showed a trace of doubt. It is said that 10,000 years ago, the 8 Desolation region suffered a great calamity. At that time, there were 8 ancient kingdoms in the 8 Desolation region. They were Heaven, Earth, Xian, Huang, Yuzhou, Flood and Desolation. The calamity lasted for a long time. It is said that the 8 Desolation region was destroyed. After the calamity, The four strongest ancient kingdoms, Xian Ancient Kingdom, Huang Ancient Kingdom, Great Flood Ancient Kingdom and Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom were left. Ling Qingqing's eyes showed a trace of emotion. She said, "It is said that 10,000 years ago, the 8 ancient kingdoms were the rulers of the 8 Desolation region. There were countless royal marquises and royal realm experts. It is said that there was even a supreme realm expert. However, that great calamity not only caused the destruction of the 4 great ancient countries, but also caused the remaining 4 great ancient countries to decline to the extreme. They did not even have a noble realm expert, and the so-called 5 great martial holy lands were only sects that had risen in recent years. The 8 Desolation Secret Area is a place left behind by the calamity 10,000 years ago. It contains the inheritance and treasures of the 4 ancient kingdoms and countless mysterious places." The calamity 10,000 years ago? Ling Zhao's eyes showed a trace of contemplation. The calamity should have happened after his death, but what was it? Could it be the supreme true dragon? Ling Xiao felt that the past 10,000 years were shrouded in layers of fog. The supreme true dragon, Jin Sei, and his disciples were nowhere to be found. It was as if they had disappeared into thin air. Since the 8 Desolation Secret Area exists, why are the 4 ancient kingdoms still in such dire straits? Ling Xiao asked. The 8 Desolation Secret Area can be said to be the battlefield of that calamity. Although there are inheritances of the 4 ancient kingdoms, there are not many of them. Most of them have been divided among the martial holy lands. 10,000 years have passed, but there is nothing useful left behind. Ling Qingqing said with a wry smile. If it was not for the inheritances and treasures in the 8 Desolation Secret Area, the martial holy lands would not have risen so quickly. If that's the case, then wouldn't the 8 Desolate Mystery Land be a wasteland? You could say that. However, in the Ba Huang Secret Territory, there is a place called the Yinyang Valley. It contains pure Yinyang baleful qi, and every 10 years, it can help Dragon Tiger Layer cultivators to break through to the Zone Master Realm. It can also help Zone Master Realm cultivators to break through to the Zone Master Realm. Only this place is in the hands of the 4 great ancient nations. I suspect that the king is looking for you, because he wants you to enter the Yinyang Valley. Ling Qingqing said slowly. Yinyang Valley? Ling Zhao's eyes glinted. The two of them chatted as they walked. They passed through many palace avenues and finally arrived in front of an ancient and weathered black palace. The Great Desolate Hall. It was an important place for the Great Desolate Emperor to deal with state affairs and rule the world. Ling Xiao did not expect that Xia Huang would choose to meet him in the Great Desolate Hall. Outside the Great Desolate Hall, there were 2 rows of soldiers in black armor. Their auras were heavy and terrifying. Their eyes were cold and they exuded a baleful qi. Their auras intertwined, making the Great Desolate Hall look even more solemn. Go in. The king is waiting for you inside. Remember, don't be so stubborn. After all, the king is the king. Ling Qingqing glanced at Ling Xiao and instructed. Don't worry, Sister Qingqing. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and walked up the high stone steps to the Great Desolate Hall. The 2 dignified armored soldiers on both sides stared at Ling Xiao. Their gazes were cold and indifferent, just like the edge of a blade. However, Ling Xiao did not seem to notice. His expression was still calm as he slowly walked up the 81 stone steps and stood in front of the Great Desolate Hall. Ling Xiao, come in. A deep and majestic voice sounded. The 2 doors of the Great Desolate Hall slowly opened. Ling Xiao's expression was indifferent as he stepped in. Boom. The doors closed again. The Great Desolate Hall was brightly lit and very spacious. However, it was very empty at this moment. There was only one person sitting on the huge dragon throne. It was a middle-aged man in a black dragon robe and a flat imperial crown. He exuded a domineering aura that could shake the world. He was very tall and seemed to be able to support the heavens and earth. His eyes were filled with vicissitudes, and there was a faint divine glow in them. He sat on the dragon throne and looked down at Ling Xiao. The majesty in his eyes made people want to kneel down. This was the aura of someone who had been in a high position for a long time. This was the ruler of the Great Desolate Ancient Kingdom, Xia Huang. Ling Xiao looked straight at Xia Huang. His expression was calm and indifferent, as if he was not affected by Xia Huang's aura at all. I heard that you were the one who refined the soul-returning elixir. You're not bad. Xia Huang's eyes revealed a trace of admiration as he slowly stood up from the dragon throne. Ling Xiao could sense that Xia Huang was at the peak of the 9th level of the sky-human realm like Ling Juechen and Pure Yang spiritual master. However, even if Ling Juechen and Pure Yang spiritual master worked together, they were still no match for Xia Huang. This was because Xia Huang had the aura of the dragon vein. The great desolate ancient kingdom had existed for tens of thousands of years mainly because of the dragon vein. Xia Huang could mobilize the power of the dragon vein. Therefore, even if he was only at the 9th level of the sky-human realm, he could still unleash the combat strength of a noble. However, the dragon vein also restrained Xia Huang at the same time. This was because a noble needed to reflect the heart of the heavens and comprehend the power of the will of the heavens and earth. They were not limited by physical objects and could do as they pleased. However, because Xia Huang had been under the influence of the dragon vein for a long time, it was extremely difficult for him to comprehend the power of the will of the heavens and earth on his own. Therefore, the person who needed the soul-returning elixir the most was Xia Huang. Your Majesty, you're too kind. I was just lucky. May I know why your Majesty has summoned me? Ling Xiao said indifferently. Xia Huang looked straight at Ling Xiao for a moment and smiled. You're just like Ling Zhen when he was young. There's a kind of arrogance in your bones. However, your appearance is very similar to your mother. Xia Huang's voice was very soft. The powerful aura disappeared and he became very calm. There was a trace of nostalgia in his voice. My mother? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. You must be blaming me for not caring about you for the past 3 years, right? If I told you that I didn't let you inherit the title of Demon Lord because I wanted to protect you, would you believe me? Xia Huang looked at Ling Xiao and said slowly, Protect me. Ling Xiao was stunned. Perhaps you know a little about your mother. However, you don't know what your mother represents. It's a terrifying force that can shatter the universe. Xia Huang sighed softly. There was a slight fluctuation in his eyes, as if he was afraid and shocked. My mother? There's a powerful force behind her? How could it make you feel afraid? Chapter 238. Your mother's name was Mu Hanyan. She was a gentle and elegant woman, perfect to the extreme. Speaking of which, your father and I both liked her, but she chose that fellow, Ling Zhen, in the end. When she was just a month old after giving birth to you, a terrifying expert came. It was said that he was sent by the Hanyan clan. Your father and I joined forces, but we couldn't even last a single round against him. A trace of nostalgia appeared in Xia Huang's eyes. When he mentioned that terrifying expert in the end, his face was filled with pain. That expert is at least at the monarch realm, and it's even to the extent that he might be an exalt realm expert. Because he was able to tear space apart before us and step into space with his physical body. He's an expert that's formidable to the point of arousing despair in others. He wasn't even prepared to let you go, but your mother begged him desperately, and he finally agreed to spare your life. His only request was that he couldn't tell you about your background and let you be an ordinary person. You couldn't even inherit the title of Demon King. Xia Huang's voice was filled with exhaustion, and a trace of anger appeared in his eyes. Tear space apart? These few words caused Ling Zhao's heart to tremble violently. A person who could tear space apart with his bare hands was definitely not an emperor, but an immortal supreme realm expert. There was actually a supreme realm expert behind his mother. That meant that his mother was at least from one of the holy lands of the martial Dao, or a hidden clan on the war god continent. He didn't expect that she would have a relationship with that cheap father of his in this remote 8 Desolates region. Both your father and I were heavily injured in that battle. Because of the dragon vein, my injuries were even worse. So I've been in closed-door cultivation for the past 3 years, but I've actually been recuperating. Your father's wish was for you to live a peaceful life, so he didn't want you to know about these things. Xia Huang said slowly. Then why are you telling me now? Ling Xiao asked. Because you already have the right to know about these things. Xia Huang's eyes glinted. You're only 16 years old, but you're already able to suppress sky snake descent with your cultivation at the dragon tiger realm. Moreover, you're an upper-level alchemist master. You're much stronger than your father was back then. Hence, I'm guessing that the peerless talent that your mother passed down to you has awakened. Furthermore, you've been accepted as a disciple by the muddle-headed old man. Your future is limitless. Therefore, I believe that you have the right to know your background and the ability to choose the path you want to take in the future. Most importantly, I hope that one day, you can find Ling Zhen and Han Yen. I will. Ling Xiao said calmly with a sharp glint in his eyes. Taking over this body meant inheriting everything of Ling Xiao. Naturally, he also inherited Ling Xiao's karma. Ling Xiao was a supreme sovereign who had once stood at the peak of humanity. He naturally knew how terrifying the power of karma was, so he accepted everything of Ling Xiao, including his parents. All right. It's good that you know this. After all, although you are very talented, your cultivation is still very weak. This is also the reason why I called you here. I will give you a place to enter the Yinyang Valley. Xia Huang lamented as he looked at Ling Xiao. Yinyang Valley? May I know what this Yinyang Valley is? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Although he had heard from Ling Qingqing that the Yinyang Valley contained Yinyang spiritual qi, he was more curious about the origin of the Yinyang Valley. The Yinyang Valley is a treasure land in the Bahuang secret region. It is controlled by the 4 great ancient countries and opens once every 10 years. It is a natural place of extreme yin and yang. It is said that it is the burial place of countless experts. Extreme yin gives birth to yang. Therefore, it will emit pure yin-yang spiritual qi. Not only can it cleanse the body, but it can also help one to break through. It is not impossible for experts of the Grandmaster realm with great talent to break through a few realms. Xia Huang said slowly. The burial place of experts, the place where extreme yin gives birth to yang? If that is true, my chances of breaking through the 2nd level of the heaven-devouring secret skill will be greatly increased. Ling Xiao was also a little excited. Although he had obtained the Sun Divine Stone and the Sun Divine Essence, he had to cultivate in a place of extreme yin and yang to have a greater chance of breaking through. After all, the cultivation of the heaven-devouring secret skill was too difficult. Even Ling Xiao did not dare to be careless. Once he broke through to the 2nd level of the heaven-devouring secret skill, he would be able to condense the heaven-devouring golden lotus. At that time, the golden lotus would give birth to all living things. Ling Xiao would be able to devour all living things to nourish his body and help him break through faster. The wonders of the heaven-devouring golden lotus were far beyond the heaven-devouring spiritual seed. More importantly, after condensing the sky-devouring golden lotus, Ling Xiao would be able to cultivate the 2nd and 3rd styles of the 7 limits divine technique of devouring heaven and destroying earth. At that time, his battle prowess would definitely undergo a tremendous change. With that, Ling Xiao would be more confident in facing the upcoming life and death battle. The Yinyang Valley emits yin-yang spiritual qi every 10 years. It is only enough for 36 people to cultivate. Therefore, the Great Barren Ancient Country only has 9 people. Ling Xiao, your combat strength is strong. When the time comes, you have to take care of them. The Great Barren Ancient Country always plays tricks in the dark. I am afraid that they will target us this time. Xia Huang looked at Ling Xiao and said seriously. Don't worry. With me around, the people of the Great Barren Ancient Country will be fine. Ling Xiao said faintly. Ling Xiao. You and Hongxiu. Xia Huang muttered to himself for a moment. He looked at Ling Xiao and hesitated. Your Majesty, Princess Hongxiu and I should make our own decisions about our marriage. Let's forget about the previous engagement. However, don't worry. I will protect her in the Yinyang Valley. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He could see Xia Huang's intention. All right then. Xia Huang smiled bitterly and shook his head. After exchanging a few more pleasantries, Ling Xiao bid farewell and left. He would be heading to the Yinyang Valley the next day, so he had to go back and make some preparations. Xia Huang looked at Ling Xiao's departing figure with a contemplative look in his eyes. After leaving the Great Barren Hall, Ling Xiao was about to leave when he saw a soldier waiting outside. He said that Ling Juechen wanted to see him. Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback. Ling Juechen wanted to see him so soon. Could it be that there was an accident with the resurrection elixir? Thinking of this, Ling Xiao hurriedly followed the soldier. In the secret chamber of the Celestial Master Hall, when Ling Juechen saw Ling Xiao, he immediately pulled him over and said with a smile, "Ling Xiao, come and take a look at this jade disc." A black jade disc appeared in Ling Juechen's hand. It was in the shape of a saber and looked simple and unadorned. However, it exuded a mysterious and sharp aura. This is... Ling Xiao's gaze immediately became somewhat strange. This was because this black jade disc was the black jade disc of the 7 destruction slash that Chen Fengdao had racked his brains to obtain at the Great Baron auction house. The only difference was that this jade disc was 1 size larger. Ling Xiao had guessed that Chen Fengdao had a black jade disc for a long time. He hadn't expected Ling Xiao's guess to be correct. Chapter 239. Great General Chen Weishan gave me this jade disc. There's a powerful spiritual seal on it, and he wants me to help him break it. However, I discovered that the spiritual seal on the jade disc is a mysterious spiritual lock. I can't break it with my current spiritual power. Why don't you take a look and see if you can break it? Ling Juechen explained with a trace of anticipation in his eyes. In his eyes, Ling Xiao had a pure Yang Yuan spirit, and was accepted as a disciple by the muddle-headed old man. Ling Xiao was already stronger than him in terms of alchemy. Ling Xiao's gaze was a little strange as he said, "There might be a powerful Tian-grade martial art on this jade disc. Is Chen Weishan at ease leaving this jade disc here?" In Ling Xiao's opinion, the jade disc might contain the Saber Emperor's 10 annihilation slash from 10,000 years ago. It was a superior grade martial art that could kill supremes when cultivated to its peak. Even if Chen Weishan didn't know how precious the martial art was, how could he be so careless? If he doesn't leave it here, who else can he find? If I can't break the seal in the entire Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, no one else can. He probably doesn't have a way, but he did say that he'll come back in a few hours. If I can't break the seal, then he'll think of another way. Ling Juechen smiled faintly. "Let me take a look." Ling Xiao's lips twitched as a smile appeared on his face. He was still worrying about how to get his hands on this saber art. He didn't expect Chen Weishan to deliver it to him. The Saber Emperor from 10,000 years ago also possessed the heavenly saber bloodline. However, he died too early and didn't break through to the Supremes. Otherwise, the 10 annihilation slash wouldn't be a superior grade martial art, but a Supreme's martial art. Ling Xiao planned to comprehend the 10 annihilation slash himself, and it was very suitable for Lung Feng to cultivate. Ling Xiao held the black jade disc and sent a trace of his spiritual power into it. Boom! The jade disc was filled with chaos. An incomparably huge black saber light swept across the world, exuding a peerless sharpness that could destroy everything. The black saber light was actually formed from pure spiritual power. It contained a powerful saber intent that made one's scalp tingle. The saber light sealed the jade disc. If one wanted to see what was inside, they had to break the saber light seal first. This saber intent is indeed very powerful. The heavenly blade bloodline is indeed born for blades. I hope this 10 slashes annihilation won't disappoint me. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up as his powerful mental strength enveloped the jade disc. When Ling Juchen saw that Ling Xiao was studying the jade disc, he didn't pay it any mind. He turned around and continued to stare at the soul-returning pill in the purple cloud cauldron with Reverend Chen Yang. The seal that Chen Weishan and Ling Juchen were helpless against was nothing in front of Ling Xiao. No matter how strong the saber light seal was, it was just a mark left behind by the saber sovereign. Ling Xiao executed the heaven-devouring secret technique. Strands of mental energy turned into resplendent lights and swallowed the saber light. Rumble! Ling Xiao's mental strength was extremely pure. The sky-swallowing secret skill was pushed to the extreme. It was as if a black hole storm was formed, refining the saber light in the jade disc bit by bit. An hour later, when the huge saber light was completely refined by Ling Xiao, the primal chaos space in the jade disc suddenly opened. Rumble! It was as if heaven and earth were being split apart. The primal chaos mist surged and a stream of light surged. It turned into mysterious words and flew rapidly towards Ling Xiao. The galaxy was resplendent, and the stars rotated. A domineering and majestic figure appeared in the middle of the galaxy. He exuded a pure and majestic saber intent. Crack! Lightning flashed and starlight flashed. A terrifying saber light appeared in the sky. It was as vast and mighty as the Milky Way, spanning tens of millions of miles. When the saber light landed, countless stars shattered. The world seemed to return to chaos. Everything ceased to exist. My name is the Saber Sovereign. I started practicing the saber at the age of 8. At the age of 12, I achieved initial mastery of the Saber Dao. I killed 36 bandits in the Black Wind Mountain. At the age of 16, I achieved phenomenal mastery of the Saber Dao. At the Dragon Tiger Realm, I killed 7 experts of the Grandmaster Realm. At the age of 30, I became one with the world and comprehended the mysteries of the Saber Dao. I sat cross-legged in the thunder-rolling mountain for 7 days and 7 nights. I comprehended the 5 slashes of annihilation. When the saber strikes, it shocks the heavens and thunder rumbles. At the age of 50, I became a noble and comprehended the 7 slashes of annihilation. I challenged all the heroes in the world and defeated 72 geniuses in a row. My sword heart is clear, and I am not limited by anything. At the age of 60, I became an emperor and comprehended the 10 slashes of annihilation. I cut the heavens, the earth, and the reincarnation cycle. When the saber strikes, there is no turning back. I became the #1 person of the ecliptic path, and killed black ice supremacy in the Milky Way. At the age of 80, I became a 9th-layer emperor. I encountered demons from outer space. With the 10 slashes of annihilation, I killed hundreds of heavenly demon generals and exhausted the king of generals. I left the 10 slashes of annihilation for the fated one. I hope you won't disgrace my name. The domineering and heavy voice echoed in the unknown void. In the end, the saber light that filled the sky and the mysterious technique merged into Ling Xiao's mind like a stream of light. It's the true meaning of the 10 slashes of annihilation? Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with shock. Generally speaking, only supreme-level martial arts contain the power of the laws of heaven and earth. They required the inheritance of the true meaning to carry them. Take the Longevity Supreme Scripture, for example. Without the inheritance of the true meaning, even if one obtained the complete scripture, it would be very difficult to cultivate it to perfection. On the other hand, it was extremely rare for a heaven-level martial arts to have the true meaning of the inheritance. Most of them were left behind by heaven-defying peerless powerhouses. For example, the Saber Emperor left behind the Saber Dao true meaning of his life before he died. Ling Xiao did not expect it to be passed down to him. Ling Xiao understood after thinking about it. The spiritual seal on the black jade disc was actually a test. If one wanted to break the Saber Light seal, one would need to be extremely talented in the Saber Dao. The Saber Emperor probably did not expect there to be such a freak like Ling Xiao who could forcefully break the spiritual seal with the sky-devouring secret technique. Therefore, the true meaning of the 10 slashes of annihilation fell directly on Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was speechless. Although the 10 slashes of annihilation was a heaven-level upper martial art, he did not take it seriously. If Lung Feng could obtain the true meaning of the inheritance, he would definitely be able to create a peerless powerhouse in a short period of time. However, since he had already received the true meaning of the inheritance, there was no way he could pass it on to Lung Feng. Fortunately, Lung Feng could also cultivate the 10 slashes of annihilation. Chen Weishan and his son have lost everything this time. If they knew that I had obtained the 10 slashes of annihilation, their expressions would be very interesting, right? Ling Xiao's lips curled into a smile. After Ling Xiao obtained the true meaning of the 10 slashes of annihilation, the black jade disc in his hand became empty and ordinary. Ling Xiao thought for a while, and the corners of his mouth curled into a smile. Immediately, he used his mental strength to engrave the first 8 moves of the 10 slashes of annihilation into the jade disc. Chapter 240. Uncle, I've already broken the seal on the jade disc. There's indeed a heaven-tier martial art inside, called the 8 annihilation slashes. It's quite powerful. Ling Xiao opened his eyes and handed the black jade disc to Ling Juechen with a smile. It's actually a heaven-tier martial art? This Chen Weishan really has a great fortune. Ling Xiao, why don't you make a copy of this martial art first? Zhu Chen was a little surprised. He thought about it for a moment. There's no need. Uncle, low-grade heaven-rank martial techniques are nothing to me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. That's true. The muddle-headed old man must have left you many powerful martial arts. However, Chen Weishan said that if I can break the seal, I can make a copy of the martial art inside as a reward. This 8 annihilation slashes seems pretty good. I've really struck it rich. Ling Juechen laughed heartily. Although he himself had cultivated a powerful heaven-tier martial art, no one would complain about having too many of such martial arts. Ling Xiao laughed inwardly. He was probably the one who had struck it the most. Chen Weishan and his son were really unlucky. They had actually delivered the jade disc to Ling Xiao, making him the biggest winner in the end. After bidding farewell to Ling Juechen and Pure Sun's spiritual master, Ling Xiao left the imperial city and returned to the Demon King's estate. In the manor, Lung Feng was cultivating in seclusion after obtaining the slaughter pill. Ling Xiao could feel the saber intent growing stronger and stronger, as well as the sharpness hidden in his bloodline. He believed that when Lung Feng came out of seclusion, he would definitely give him a big surprise. Ling Xiao called Li Ling, Grandmaster Jiaomu, Lu Xiongfei Meng Ao, and the others over. He told them that he was about to go to the Yinyang Valley, and told them to avoid going out as much as possible. There were less than 20 days until the life and death battle with the Myriad Beast sect. Although Ling Juechen and Pure Sun's spiritual master were intimidating them, and the moon goddess was also in the imperial city, so the Myriad Beast sect didn't dare to be too presumptuous. Ling Xiao was still afraid that they would act out of desperation. Moreover, there was still the group of assassins from the underworld. He didn't know when they would come to assassinate him again. The next morning, Ling Xiao left the Demon King's estate and arrived at a plaza in the imperial city. On the square, there was a huge black eagle. It was more than 10 meters tall, and its black wings were like swords, emitting a metallic luster. The eagle's beak flashed with cold light, and its 2 huge eagle claws were very sharp. Its eyes were very cold, especially its pair of wings, which were over 30 meters long when fully extended. They covered the heavens and the earth and stirred up violent gales. This black eagle was actually a rank 6 demonic beast. Its entire body was emitting a powerful aura. Ling Xiao guessed that this black eagle should be their mount for this trip to the Yinyang Valley. On the square, Ling Xiao also saw the other 8 people who were going to Yinyang Valley. He recognized Xia Hongxiu, Chen Fengdao, Ling Qingqing and Li Chengfeng. There were 4 other young men and women he did not know. Ling Xiao over here. Li Chengfeng's eyes were the sharpest, and he immediately saw Ling Xiao. His eyes revealed a hint of surprise as he shouted. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a smile as he walked towards Li Chengfeng. Before coming, Li Ling had already told Ling Xiao that Li Chengfeng would also be going to Yinyang Valley this time, and asked Ling Xiao to take care of him. Brother Ling Xiao, I didn't expect you to make a name for yourself in the capital after I went into seclusion for a few days. You defeated Ling Tianxi with your fist and suppressed Shi Tianluo. You're really amazing. Li Chengfeng's face was full of excitement as he pulled Ling Xiao and talked nonstop. You're not bad yourself. You've broken through to the Grandmaster realm. I'm afraid the 5th young master of the capital will soon become the 6th young master of the capital, right? Ling Xiao smiled slightly, and a glimmer of light appeared in his eyes. Li Chengfeng had broken through to the Grandmaster realm from the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm during his seclusion this time. He was already on par with the 5th young master of the capital. 6th young master of the capital? He's still far from that. An ear-piercing sneer rang out at an inappropriate time. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he realized that the person who spoke was Chen Fengdao. At this moment, his face was full of cold laughter as he looked at Ling Xiao and Li Chengfeng. Moreover, Ling Xiao felt a familiar aura from Chen Fengdao's body. You've already started cultivating the 8 annihilation slashes? Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat, and a smile appeared on his face. Chen Fengdao, you don't have to worry about how I, Li Chengfeng, am doing. Li Chengfeng looked at Chen Fengdao with an unpleasant expression. They hadn't seen each other for a few days, and Chen Fengdao had already broken through to the 3rd level of the Grandmaster realm. Moreover, he had cultivated the 8 annihilation slashes. No wonder he dared to speak in such a manner. Brother Ling Xiao, you have to protect me when we go to the Yinyang Valley this time. Those people from the Great Huang ancient country are not good people. Ling Qingqing also walked to Ling Xiao's side. Her fragrance filled the air as she smiled flirtatiously. Sister Qingqing, don't worry. With me around, you'll definitely be fine. Ling Xiao smiled gently. Seeing Ling Qingqing standing beside Ling Xiao, Chen Fengdao's expression became extremely unpleasant. His gaze towards Ling Xiao revealed a hint of murderous intent. Ling Xiao noticed Chen Fengdao's murderous intent, but he didn't care. If he didn't plan to let Leng Feng deal with this clown personally, Ling Xiao would have slapped him to death. On the other hand, Xia Hongxiu looked at Ling Xiao in a daze, and there was a hint of complexity in her eyes. Li Chengfeng chattered incessantly in Ling Xiao's ears, and he seemed to be very excited, especially when he heard about Ling Xiao's magnificent performance at the Ling family's year-end celebration. He felt extremely frustrated. He felt that he had missed out on an exciting event. However, from Li Chengfeng's words, Ling Xiao also understood the identities of the other 4 young men and women. Originally, the first prince and the 9th prince each had a quota. However, for some reason, the 2 of them gave excuses and didn't intend to go to the Yinyang Valley. Instead, they each sent a subordinate to participate. The 2 of them looked to be in their 20s. They wore black robes and kept a low profile. Their cultivation had reached level 3 of the Grandmaster realm. There were also 2 people, 1 male and 1 female. The male looked to be in his 20s and looked very shy. His name was Lu Feng, and he was at level 2 of the Grandmaster realm. He was also one of the 5 princes of the royal capital. The female was Lu Feng's younger sister, Lu Yun, and she was at level 9 of the Dragon Tiger realm. She was also a famous genius in the royal capital. This time, she was prepared to use the Yinyang baleful qi in the Yinyang Valley to break through. Together with Ling Xiao, there were 9 people from the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom who were going to the Yinyang Valley. Not long after, a middle-aged man wearing black armor and carrying a saber on his back walked over. His aura was very strong and filled the air with baleful qi. His gaze swept across Ling Xiao and the other 9 people like lightning, causing everyone to feel a chill run down their spines. Ling Xiao glanced at the middle-aged man in front of him and discovered that he was actually a level 4 sky human realm expert. Moreover, his hands were stained with blood. Such a person was like Meng Ao, a peerless general. My name is Xiaolong. This time, I'm going to bring you to the Yinyang Valley. Xiaolong said concisely. Then he waved at the Black Eagle, and the Black Eagle obediently knelt down. Xiaolong stepped into the void and stood on the Black Eagle's head. He then looked at Ling Xiao and the others and said calmly, "Come on up. If you miss the time, the Yinyang Valley will be closed." Ling Xiao and the others were slightly stunned. They quickly leaped up and jumped onto the Black Eagle's wings. Chirp. Chapter 241. The 8 Desolation Secret Territory was located at the border of the Great Barren Ancient Country. It was thousands of miles away from the capital city. The Black Eagle was a rank 6 demonic beast. It was extremely fast, like a black lightning, flying through the clouds towards the direction of the 8 Desolation Secret Territory. The wind was strong and the sky was wide. If it wasn't for Xiaolong's Gang Qi barrier protecting Ling Xiao and the rest, they would have been blown off by the strong wind. Cheng Feng and the rest stood on the back of the Black Eagle, looking down at the vast mountains and rivers, huge cities and mountain ranges. They could not help but feel a sense of pride in their hearts. At the same time, they also yearned to be a celestial realm expert, who could fly and break free from the shackles of heaven and earth. How free and easy would that be? Ling Xiao, there shouldn't be any danger in this trip to the Yinyang Valley, but you still have to be careful of the people from the Great Huang Ancient Country. Ling Qingqing stood beside Ling Xiao and said softly, "The Great Huang Ancient Country?" A glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes as he nodded. The Great Huang Ancient Country was backed by the Wan Shou sect, and its national strength was much stronger than the Great Barren Ancient Country. It was also the country that had the most tense relationship with the Great Barren Ancient Country. Ling Xiao had already offended the Wan Shou sect, and it was hard to guarantee that they wouldn't use the Great Huang Ancient Country to do something. Sister Qingqing, don't worry. If the Great Huang Ancient Country dares to do anything, I will let them taste my methods. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his eyes deep and calm. Although there were 9 people going to the Yinyang Valley this time, there were obviously many small groups. Ling Xiao, Ling Qingqing and Cheng Feng were together, while Lu Feng and Lu Yin were with Xia Hongxiu. Lu Feng and Lu Yin were with Xia Hongxiu because their father, Lu Yuan, was the current prime minister and had been Xia Hongxiu's teacher before. Lu Feng and Lu Yin had a good relationship with Xia Hongxiu. Chen Fengdao was with the person sent by the ninth prince, and they were whispering something to each other. There was a hint of murderous intent in his eyes when he looked at Ling Xiao. Only the first prince's subordinate, an ordinary-looking young man, sat cross-legged on the black eagle and began to cultivate as if there was no one else around him. His whole body exuded an aura of arrogance. Royal City, Wanshou Sect's hostel. Has Ling Xiao already gone to the Yinyang Valley? Very good. Inform the Myriad Beast sect and the underworld that we can act now. He Qing's eyes glinted coldly as he spoke slowly. Yes. A Wanshou sect disciple dressed in a black robe bowed respectfully, then quietly left the room. Ling Xiao, if you can survive, you might be qualified to participate in the battle of life and death. But if you die, you can't blame anyone else. He Qing said indifferently. The murderous intent in his eyes was chilling. Imperial City, Imperial City. The soul-returning pill has finally succeeded. Zhu Chun and Master Pure Sun stared at the 9 dazzling treasured pills with excitement in their eyes. The 9 pellets floated in the air and trembled slightly. There seemed to be a mysterious luster flowing around them, containing a strong spiritual light. Hurry up and report to the king. We have to break through to the noble plane as soon as possible. Ling Zhuchun and Master Pure Yang looked at each other, then took the 9 soul return pills, and headed towards the great desolate hall, the 9th prince's residence. Mr. M.O., I've received news that father will enter seclusion in the next few days. How can it be so easy to break through to the noble plane? Especially since the emperor has been tainted by the dragon vein. It's even more dangerous. This is our chance. The 9th prince, Xia Yunran, exuded a powerful aura that was faintly ghostly. An excited smile appeared on his face. Your Highness is right. Chen Weishan has already secretly sided with us. Meng Ao is also heavily injured, and is recuperating in the Demon King's residence. Now that the royal guards are leaderless, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As long as we take down the Imperial City, our mission will be accomplished. The pale Mr. Mo smiled. His eyes were very cold, as if there was a ghostly fire dancing in them, making people shudder. Xia Yunran suppressed the excitement in his heart and nodded. That's right. Mr. Mo, order Chen Weishan to mobilize the army. Listen to my orders and be ready to act at any time. Yes. Mr. Mo bowed and replied. But what Xia Yunran did not notice was that Mr. Mo's eyes were cold and ghostly. North of the Imperial City, in a dilapidated house, a figure wrapped in a black robe had a cold murderous look in his eyes. Ling Xiao has already left the Imperial City. Naturally, there will be people to deal with him. Our target is the Demon King's residence. Jiao Mu Lu Xiongfei Meng Ao. Leave none alive. Yes. The group of black-robed men below responded loudly. Then, like ghosts, they flashed out of the house in an instant. This 8 desolation region. It's time for a change. The black-robed man said slowly. A cruel and bloodthirsty look appeared in his eyes as he slowly disappeared from where he was. After Ling Zhao's departure, the undercurrent in the royal capital instantly became turbulent. But Ling Xiao did not know any of this. The black eagle flew over the vast wilderness, over the endless rivers and lakes, over the giant cities. After a day and a night, it flew towards a barren mountain range. The world seemed to have darkened. Above the void, dark clouds rolled angrily. Thunder filled the air and rumbled. Below was a barren mountain range. It stretched for thousands of miles and was actually all black mountain rocks. There was not a single trace of green. It was as if it had been burned by a fire. It was dilapidated and barren. Faintly, it emitted a murderous aura that made one's heart tremble. This is the 8 Desolation Mountain. It used to be the center of the 8 Desolation region. It was also the capital of the most powerful great heavenly ancient kingdom. However, after thousands of years, the great heavenly ancient kingdom disappeared. This region also became the most tragic place of that great calamity. Look at the black mountain range below. It was soaked in blood. After countless years, it became what it is today. Xiaolong said slowly. His voice had a trace of vicissitudes and sorrow. A mountain range soaked in blood? This 8 Desolation Mountain seems to stretch for thousands of miles. How many people died back then to become what it is today? Hearing Xiaolong's words, everyone could not help but change their expressions. Their eyes revealed a trace of shock. It has been too long. However, it is said that during that great calamity, less than 1 out of 10 lives in the 8 Desolation region survived. Xiaolong said, less than 1 out of 10 lives. Even Ling Zhao's expression changed. The entire 8 Desolation region had a population of hundreds of millions. In the end, less than 1 out of 10 lives were left. How many lives had died? What kind of great calamity could be so terrifying? Everyone was a little sad. Looking at the barren 8 Desolation Mountain below, their expressions were solemn and their hearts were heavy. Boom. Chapter 242. Oh no! Xiaolong's expression changed. Even the black eagle's eyes showed a trace of fear as it flapped its huge wings and dodged. Ling Xiao and the rest swayed violently, almost falling off the black eagle. Boom. The black lightning was dazzling and contained a terrifying murderous aura. It instantly smashed a small mountain below into pieces. Heaven and earth trembled, sand and rocks flew, and the earth rumbled. The momentum was extremely shocking. The lightning dissipated, revealing a huge white tiger surrounded by blazing lightning. It had a pair of wings on its back and 4 powerful limbs. Its fur was pure white, and its blood qi was extremely strong. Its eyes seemed to be burning with flames, and its body emitted a terrifying murderous aura. One look at it would make one tremble. Haha. Xiaolong, I didn't expect you to be so useless after not seeing you for so many years. You've only broken through 4 levels in 10 years. What a piece of trash. A wild and unrestrained laughter came from the tiger's back. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He saw a strong man standing on the tiger's back like an iron tower. His blood qi was surging, and his eyes showed a trace of disdain. Behind him stood 9 young men and women with impressive appearances. Each of them had a very arrogant look in their eyes. Guanhu, it's you? Xiaolong's eyes flashed, and his face instantly became extremely ugly. At the same time, he was also shocked. The strong man opposite him, Guanhu, was already at the 6th level of the Sky Human Realm. 10 years ago, they were both at the 1st level of the Sky Human Realm, but he didn't expect the gap between them to widen in just 10 years. Bastard! Chengfeng and the others showed a trace of anger in their eyes. These people were too arrogant and too shameless. They actually charged over. If the Black Eagle hadn't dodged quickly, it would have suffered a great loss. Heavenly Winged Thunder Tiger. It's someone from the Great Huang ancient country. Ling Qing's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of seriousness. The Heavenly Winged Thunder Tiger was the national beast of the Great Huang ancient country. It was said that it had reached the peak of the 6th level long ago. It was only a hair away from passing the lightning tribulation and becoming a 7th level demon king. Its intelligence was no different from an ordinary person. Although the Black Eagle was also very handsome, compared to the Heavenly Winged Thunder Tiger, there was still a big gap. In addition, the power of lightning was the nemesis of all living beings. Therefore, when the Black Eagle saw the Heavenly Winged Thunder Tiger, a human-like fear appeared in its eyes. And on top of the Heavenly Winged Thunder Tiger, the 9 young men and women had extraordinary auras. They were all at the Grandmaster realm. From this, it could be seen that the Grand Huang Ancient Kingdom was indeed stronger than the Grand Desolation Ancient Kingdom. Xiaolong, when we parted 10 years ago, you were already defeated by me. Who would have thought that after 10 years you would still be so useless? It's not just you, even the younger generation of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom is becoming more and more pathetic. Even a 4th layer Dragon Tiger stage youngster is qualified to enter the Yinyang Valley. Guanhu sneered. His cold gaze swept across the 9 people behind Xiaolong. When he saw Ling Xiao, the disdain in the corners of his mouth became even thicker. Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback. Was he being looked down upon? Li Chengfeng and the rest, who were originally furious, had strange expressions on their faces. Ling Xiao was a ruthless person who defeated Shi Tianluo when he was only at the first layer of the Dragon Tiger stage. How dare the Grand Huang Ancient Kingdom look down on him? Xiaolong's gaze was also a little strange. Then he sneered and said, Guanhu, do you dare to make a bet with me? I bet that no one from your Grand Huang Ancient Kingdom is a match for him. As soon as Xiaolong finished speaking, the gazes of the 9 young men and women behind Guanhu all landed on Ling Xiao. The corners of their mouths curled up into a sneer of disdain. Xiaolong, you're really shameless. A mere 4th-layer Dragon Tiger stage dares to speak so arrogantly? What's the harm in making a bet with you? If you win, this dragon's saliva grass is yours. If you lose, you have to give me your coiling dragon pendant. Do you dare? Guanhu rolled his eyes and a light flashed in his hand. A greenish-gold blade of grass appeared, emitting a mysterious glow. You want my coiling dragon pendant? But I'm afraid you've got the wrong idea. Today, this dragon's saliva grass is mine. Xiaolong's gaze revealed a trace of anger as he sneered. The coiling dragon pendant was the only peerless treasure he had. Moreover, it was an ancient treasure that could absorb the energy of the dragon vein, allowing one to be reborn and strengthen one's vital energy and blood. Guanhu was a body refinement expert, and he had been drooling over the coiling dragon pendant for a long time. Ling Xiao was speechless. This was simply an unexpected disaster. His cultivation was low, but he still got into trouble. Moreover, Xiaolong had set the bet without his consent, which made him a little unhappy. However, in comparison, those arrogant fellows from the Grand Huang Ancient Kingdom made Ling Xiao even more unhappy. What's the bet? How can I miss out on such an interesting thing? At this moment, another aged voice rang out in the void. Whoosh! A huge black sword flew over from afar, exuding a monstrous demonic qi, majestically flying through the air. On the huge sword stood an old man in a black robe with a smile on his face. Behind him were 9 young men and women with extraordinary bearings. The people from the Great Hung Ancient Kingdom had arrived. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Behind the Great Hung Ancient Kingdom stood the Terminator Demon Sect. The country was mainly made up of demonic cultivators. Therefore, even the old man leading the group was a demonic cultivator at the 5th level of the Sky Human realm. Yang Huai, it's you? Xiaolong and Guanhu's eyes flashed as they revealed the old man's identity. More importantly, Ling Xiao saw a trace of fear in Xiaolong and Guanhu's eyes. It seemed like this Yang Huai was not simple. The two of you, long time no see. I heard that you want to bet something. How about I join in? Yang Huai glanced at Xiaolong and Guanhu with interest. However, before Xiaolong and Guanhu could speak, a clear and charming voice sounded in the void. Brothers, the 8 Desolations secret region is about to open. You still have the mood to bet here? If you delay the opening of the Yinyang Valley, let's see what you'll do. In the distant void, a green void treasure ship flew over. It emitted a bright light, and a faint fragrance wafted over. On the void treasure ship stood a beautiful woman in palace attire. She was tall and had exquisite curves. Her entire body emitted a charming and seductive aura. She looked very beautiful. Although she was only in her 30s, she had a mature charm. She was like a ripe peach that had a different kind of temptation. Behind her, there were 9 young men and women. Each of them had a powerful aura, and their faces carried the arrogance of a genius. Needless to say, Ling Xiao knew that they had arrived at the Great Han Ancient Kingdom. Chapter 243. So it's Sister Jiro. Ha ha ha, after so many years, Sister Jiro is still so beautiful. Guanhu's eyes lit up when he saw the beautiful woman on the void treasure ship. He revealed a passionate expression as he laughed. Jiro glanced at Guanhu indifferently and ignored him. Instead, she smiled at Xiaolong and said, "Brother Xia, long time no see. How are you?" Xiaolong looked at Jiro with a complicated expression. He slowly replied, "Thank you for your concern, Sister Jiro. I'm doing well." Yang Huai looked at Jiro, and then looked at Xiaolong with a smile on his face. Guanhu's face instantly turned gloomy. Jiro ignored him and treated Xiaolong warmly. This made him feel as if he had suffered a great humiliation. His eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Ling Xiao did not pay attention to the subtle relationship between the 4 Sky Human Realm experts. His gaze fell on the geniuses of the 4 ancient countries. These people could be said to be the competitors of the Great Desolation ancient country. Although the Yinyang Valley was very safe and everyone was refining the Yinyang baleful qi, there should not be any conflicts. However, there was no guarantee that there would be a fight. Moreover, from the current lineup, the Great Desolation ancient country seemed to be the weakest party. The 9 young men and women of the Great Desolation ancient country were all experts of the Grandmaster realm. The young man who was surrounded by everyone was wearing a black dragon robe. He had an extraordinary bearing and looked very handsome. He gave off a faint sense of danger. His cultivation had reached the 6th level of the Grandmaster realm. As for the 9 people from the Great Flood ancient country, they were all at the Grandmaster realm. The one leading them was a very tall and sturdy man. His black hair was draped over his shoulders and his gaze was like lightning. His entire body was emitting a powerful demonic aura that was wild and unrestrained. It was very invasive. His cultivation had also reached the 5th level of the Grandmaster realm. The Great Desolation ancient country was the one that Ling Xiao paid the most attention to. Among the 9 geniuses, there were 6 women. Each of them was very pretty and emitted an extraordinary temperament. The 3 men also had extraordinary temperaments and were very elegant. However, what surprised Ling Xiao was that the leader of the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdoms group was a girl around 16 or 17 years old. Her eyes were very bright, and her skin was as translucent as jade. She wore a thin veil on her face, and her temperament was transcendent. Standing in the crowd, she had a mysterious temperament, as if she was a fairy descending to the mortal world. Her cultivation was only at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. But it seemed that the people of the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom were very convinced by her. On the other hand, Ling Qingqing and Chen Fengdao, who had the highest cultivation, were only at LV3 of the Grandmaster realm. Ling Xiao, Xia Hongxiu, and Lu Yun were only at the Dragon Tiger realm. Therefore, it seemed that the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom was the weakest party. However, the people from the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom were also the most confident. After all, Ling Zhao's combat strength couldn't be measured by his cultivation base. Even Shi Tianluo had been defeated by Ling Xiao. Naturally, the people from the other 3 ancient kingdoms wouldn't pose any threat to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, although we won't encounter any danger in the Yinyang Valley, you still have to pay attention to these 3 people. Li Chengfeng looked at the other 3 ancient countries with a solemn expression. Oh, Ling Xiao smiled faintly. I know that your combat strength is very strong. However, there are also a few fierce characters among the geniuses of the other 3 ancient kingdoms. That person is called Huang Yunji, the 7th prince of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom. He's also the most talented person among the younger generation of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom. He reached LV6 of the Grandmaster realm at the age of 20. Rumor has it that he has cultivated the 9 dragons sky-shattering technique of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom. He's not much weaker than Shi Tianluo. Li Chengfeng looked at the young man in the black dragon robe of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom, and said slowly, Huang Yunji. Ling Xiao nodded. He could feel a faint dragon aura from Huang Yunji's body. His aura was very powerful, and his talent wasn't much weaker than Shi Tianluo's. That person is called Hong Sha, a peerless genius of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom. It's said that his talent isn't any weaker than Shi Tianluo's. He was bestowed the 9 heavens demonic technique by the king of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom. Although he's only at LV5 of the Grandmaster realm, it's said that he once killed a LV9 expert. Li Chengfeng's gaze turned to the man from the Great Desolation ancient kingdom. The most special one is this one from the Great Desolation ancient kingdom, Ji Shuiyao. Li Chengfeng's gaze finally landed on the veiled girl, a strange glint in his eyes. Ji Shuiyao is the princess of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom. It's said that she's the younger sister of the current empress of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom. Her talent is extraordinary. Although she's only at LV9 of the Dragon Tiger realm, she's very strong. Even Grandmaster realm experts aren't her match. In terms of talent, she's the most demonic one among the 36 other than you. Li Chengfeng said slowly. Ji Shuiyao? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as Ji Feishuan's peerless face appeared in his mind. Perhaps he could find out about Ji Feishuan's current situation from Ji Shuiyao. Rumble. After waiting for a while in the 8 Desolation Mountain, the crowd saw thunder roaring in the sky. Vast rays of light flashed, emitting a destructive aura. The entire 8 Desolation Mountain began to be covered by a mysterious fluctuation. Gotcha. Bolts of lightning streaked across the void, faintly distorting the void. Facing the might of the heavens and earth, everyone's expression changed slightly. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, felt a mysterious spatial fluctuation from this mysterious thunderbolt. Is this the 8 Desolation secret region? Ling Xiao squinted his eyes slightly. Yang Huai of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom's eyes flashed. He took a deep breath and said, "It's time for the seal to be at its weakest. Everyone, take out the 8 Desolation token and follow me to open the 8 Desolation secret region." "Alright. No problem. Let's do it." Xiaolong, Guanhu and Jiro's eyes flashed as they responded. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. At this moment, an ancient token appeared in each of the 4 Sky Human Realm experts' hands. It didn't look like gold or jade, but at this moment, it floated up at the same time and emitted a bright light. Moreover, an ancient and mysterious aura was emitted. Xian, Huang, Hong, Desolation. On the 4 tokens, the 4 ancient words emitted a bright light. At this moment, they intertwined and turned into a mysterious light pillar, shooting towards the place where the lightning was the most concentrated. The expressions of Yang Huai, Xiaolong, Guanhu and Jiro, the 4 Sky Human stage experts, turned grim at that moment. At the same time, they unleashed their powerful cultivation bases to pour into the 4 tokens, causing the pillar of light to become even more resplendent. Kacha! The sky shook, and the lightning became even more intense. It vaguely formed a vast sea of lightning that began to surge in all directions. However, Ling Zhao's sharp senses told him that the 4 tokens were like 4 keys that pierced through the void and opened a mysterious door. Rumble! Light shone brightly in the void, as if there were ripples spreading out. A mysterious door suddenly opened. Chapter 244. Take Ling Xiao as your leader and quickly enter the 8 Desolation secret land. Remember, I have already told you the location of the Yinyang Valley. It will open in 3 days. This door can only be maintained for 10 days. After 10 days, you must all come out. Otherwise, you will have to stay in there for 10 years. Xiaolong said slowly as he looked at Ling Xiao and the others. Yes. Ling Xiao and the others bowed in response. Their eyes were filled with excitement and anticipation. At this moment, the people from the Great Flood Ancient Country and the Great Mystery Ancient Country had already entered the door. The people from the Great Yellow Ancient Country, under Huang Yunji's lead, did not want to fall behind. However, Ling Xiao noticed that among the 9 people from the Great Yellow Ancient Country, there was a murderous intent. However, as they entered the 8 Desolation secret land, the murderous intent disappeared. Could it be the people from the Wanshou sect? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with a cold light. However, he did not think too much about it. He, Chengfeng, Ling Qingqing, and the others also entered the 8 Desolation secret land. Ling Xiao could see that there was a powerful seal on the 8 Desolation secret land. The reason why it only opened once every 10 years was because the seal would weaken every 10 years. Only then could the 4 Sky Realm experts use the 8 Desolation token to forcefully open the 8 Desolation secret land. The various treasures and inheritances in the 8 Desolation secret land had been plundered clean by the Martial Saint lands in the past few thousand years. In the entire 8 Desolation secret land, only the Yinyang Valley had some value. It was shared by the 4 great ancient countries. Boom! Ling Xiao passed through the door. The light in front of him was dazzling. There seemed to be a mysterious energy surrounding his body. When the light dissipated, Ling Xiao saw that he had entered a foreign land. The sky here was gray and the land was vast. There were mountains in the distance, emitting a dilapidated and ancient aura. Everyone, the Yinyang Valley will open in 3 days. The 8 Desolation secret land is vast. There might be precious treasures and inheritances. Let's rely on our own abilities. We will leave first. See you in 3 days. Angsha's eyes flashed. He cupped his hands and smiled at the crowd. Then he left with the 8 people from the Great Flood ancient country. Princess Shui Yao, the 8 desolate secret realm is filled with dangers. Why don't you travel together with my great Huang ancient country? I will definitely protect you. Huang Yunji glanced at Ji Shuiyao and smiled. There's no need for that. Thank you for your kindness, Your Highness. Ji Shuiyao glanced at Huang Yunji indifferently, then walked up to Ling Xiao with curiosity in her eyes. You're Ling Xiao? That's right, it's me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Very good. If you follow me, I will protect you. Ji Shuiyao said indifferently, her voice cold and arrogant. Everyone was slightly taken aback. Ji Shuiyao actually said she wanted to protect Ling Xiao? However, this brat looked like he was only at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. It could be said that he was the weakest among those who had entered the Bahuang mystery region. What did he do to deserve Ji Shuiyao's attention? Everyone knew that Ji Shuiyao's talent was peerless, but it was rumored that Ji Shuiyao's beauty could make the heavens and earth lose their color. Moreover, her character was extremely cold. She did not even like the genius disciples of the martial arts Saint Lance. Who was Ling Xiao? The smile on Huang Yunji's face instantly froze, and his eyes turned gloomy. He did not expect Ji Shuiyao to be so disrespectful. However, Ji Shuiyao actually allowed a young man at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm to follow her. Was this not a slap to Huang Yunji's face? I'm afraid there's no need for that. Thank you for your kindness, Your Highness. There shouldn't be any danger in the Bahuang mystery region. I can protect myself. Ling Xiao was taken aback, and a wry smile appeared on his face. He did not expect Ji Feishuan's sister to be so domineering. She immediately said she wanted to protect him, and did not give him any room for negotiation. That's right. Princess Shuiyao, with Ling Xiao's cultivation and combat strength, there shouldn't be anyone who can threaten him in the Bahuang mystery region. Please return. Ling Qingqing's eyes were filled with vigilance as she stepped forward to stand beside Ling Xiao. She did not know why, but when she heard Ji Shuiyao say she wanted to protect Ling Xiao, she felt extremely displeased. A mere 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm dares to boast so shamelessly? Don't die in the Bahuang mystery region, and become a laughingstock. Huang Yunji's eyes were filled with disdain as he sneered. When they were outside the Bahuang mystery region, Xiaolong had said that Ling Xiao was only at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, but he had the combat strength of a grandmaster. He was already very displeased, and when he heard Ling Qingqing's words, he could not help but explode. Huang Yunji, watch your mouth. If Ling Xiao attacks, I don't think you'll be his match. Li Qingfeng's eyes were filled with anger as he said coldly, I'm not his match. Haha. Huang Yunji was stunned for a moment, and then he laughed out loud. The people from the Great Huang ancient country also laughed as if they had heard a joke. Ling Xiao was only at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, while Huang Yunji was the #1 genius of the Great Huang ancient country. He was at the 6th level of the Grandmaster realm. Cheng Feng actually said that Huang Yunji was not Ling Xiao's opponent. Even the pro-disciples of the martial Dao Holy Lands did not dare to say that they could defeat Huang Yunji with their cultivation of the Dragon Tiger realm. Who was Ling Xiao? Ling Xiao squinted his eyes and glanced at Huang Yunji as well as the 8 geniuses of Great Huang ancient country behind him. What? Kid, are you not convinced? Believe it or not, anyone from my Great Huang ancient country can defeat you with a single move. Ling Xiao's indifferent gaze made Huang Yunji feel extremely displeased as he laughed coldly. You can try. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Kid, do you really want to die? Huang Yunji's gaze turned cold. A kid at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm dared to provoke him. Huang Yunji's heart was filled with anger, and a trace of killing intent emerged. Ji Shuiyao frowned slightly as she looked at Huang Yunji and said, 7th Prince, if you have time, why don't you go to the 8 Desolation secret territory to look for opportunities? Why do you want to compete with a kid at the Dragon Tiger realm? Huang Yunji's eyes flashed as he smiled faintly and said, Princess Shuiyao is right. I won't lower myself to their level today. Kid, next time open your eyes. There are some people you can't afford to offend. I'll give Princess Shueyao some face today, but next time it won't be so easy. Let's go. Huang Yunji looked coldly at Ling Xiao, then turned around and left with the people of the great Huang ancient country. Ling Xiao, if you encounter any danger, you can come and find me. The great Huang ancient country is still too weak. Chapter 245. Bastard. Li Chengfeng's expression was ugly as he said hatefully, Ling Xiao, why don't you teach Huang Yunji a lesson? He's too arrogant. How dare he look down on you? Even Shi Skyfall was defeated by you. What is Huang Yunji to you? That's right. Ling Xiao, in my opinion, you should teach him a lesson. Ling Qingqing said as if she wanted to see the world plunged into chaos. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, the people of Great Huang ancient country are nothing to be afraid of. Most importantly, this is our first time in the 8 Desolation secret region. We have to figure out if there are any hidden dangers. That's the most important thing. For some reason, after Ling Xiao entered the 8 Desolation secret region, he felt as if he was being watched by something. He felt very uncomfortable all over. Moreover, among the 9 people of Great Huang ancient country, there was a faint sense of danger. That was why Ling Xiao did not attack, as he did not want to expose his strength. Ling Xiao's most urgent matter now was to figure out the situation in the 8 Desolation secret region. He wanted to find out what was making him feel uneasy. As for Huang Yunji's provocation, it was nothing to Ling Xiao. Chen Fengdao, what are you doing? Li Chengfeng's eyes flashed as he saw Chen Fengdao and the 9th prince's subordinate, Tang Xian, leaving. What am I doing? He, of course, I don't want to be with you. I have my own matters to attend to and have no time to play with you. See you in Yinyang Valley 3 days later. Chen Fengdao sneered and left with Tang Xian without looking back. After the two of them left, the first prince's subordinate, the very cold and low-profile young man, Cheng Gang, also turned and left. In the blink of an eye, only Ling Xiao, Ling Qingqing, Li Chengfeng, Xia Hongxiu, Lu Feng, and Lu Yin were left. Bastard. Li Chengfeng grumbled, his face full of annoyance. It's okay. Those 3 guys are also unstable factors. It's good that they're gone. Princess, are you coming with us or going alone? Ling Qingqing smiled faintly, then looked at Xia Hongxiu, then glanced at Ling Xiao. Sister Qingqing, I'll go with you, Xia Hongxiu said with a smile. We siblings will also follow you. Lu Feng and Lu Yun hurriedly expressed their stance as well. All right, since that's the case, I'll bring everyone to a place. Ling Qingqing said slowly. Where is this place? Could it be some kind of treasure? Li Chengfeng's eyes lit up as he ran over to ask. How can there be so many treasures? Even if there were, the Holy Lands would have taken them all. Ling Qingqing rolled her eyes and said, but the place I'm talking about is very beneficial to our cultivation. Your Highness also knows this place. Ling Qingqing glanced at Xia Hongxiu. Xia Hongxiu nodded and said, this news was also told to me by a senior sister in the sect. In the Ba Huang Mystery Land, there is a hidden spiritual spring that contains extremely pure spiritual qi. Although it is not as good as the yin-yang spiritual qi, it is still extraordinary, and can help us to break through our cultivation levels quickly. Spirit Spring. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He did not expect there to be such a treasure in the Ba Huang Mystery Land. Spirit springs were usually spiritual items that were nurtured by extremely dense spiritual veins. It was extremely precious, and only the holy lands of the martial Tao had such treasures. That hidden spirit spring was left behind by the great celestial ancient kingdom. Although it is damaged, it is definitely enough for the 6 of us. As long as we can find that spirit spring, each of us can break through 1 or 2 cultivation levels. However, that place is filled with traps and arrays, so we must be careful. Ling Qingqing warned. If that's the case, then let's go quickly. Don't let anyone else find us. Li Chengfeng hurriedly urged. Ling Xiao, what do you think? Ling Qingqing looked at Ling Xiao and asked with a smile. Xia Hongxiu, Li Chengfeng and the rest also looked at Ling Xiao, waiting for him to make a decision. Ling Zhao's combat strength was the strongest, so he was unconsciously treated as the leader. Since everyone wants to find the spirit spring, I have no objections. Let's go. Ling Xiao said with a smile. After making the decision, Ling Xiao, Ling Qingqing and the rest crossed the vast plains and headed towards the endless mountain range in the distance. According to Ling Qingqing and Xia Hongxiu's clues, the spirit spring was located in an ancient palace in the mountain range. In the 8 Desolation secret region, other than the vast plains, there were vast and ancient mountains. Corpses and broken weapons could be seen everywhere along the way. The earth was crisscrossed with ravines, and some mountains were split apart. All of these showed that a fierce battle had once taken place here. Within the mountain range, towering ancient trees stood in great numbers, giving off a desolate aura. Although most of the traces of the great battle were covered up, the broken mountains, shattered earth, and lakes that gave off terrifying sword chi made Ling Xiao and the others sigh in amazement. The calamity 10,000 years ago had shattered the universe of the 8 Desolation region. The mountains and rivers had reversed, leaving behind a desolate battlefield that had been sealed forever. The fog of time had covered everything, making it impossible to find out the cause of the calamity 10,000 years ago. However, Ling Xiao wanted to find out what had happened in the 8 Desolation region 10,000 years ago. Only then would he be able to find clues about Jin Se and the rest. Ling Xiao had always believed that Jin Se was still alive, waiting for his return somewhere. Therefore, Ling Xiao had been observing very carefully along the way. Those broken palaces, corpses, and broken weapons were all carefully examined by him. With just one look, Ling Xiao discovered many problems. The calamity 10,000 years ago, could it have been a war with the demonic beasts? Ling Xiao's brows furrowed slightly. From the wounds left on the corpses, many of them had been torn apart by sharp claws and bitten by teeth. There were even teeth marks left on the weapons. The blood had already dried up, turning the ground black. Ling Xiao did not speak along the way, as if they could feel the oppressive aura from Ling Xiao. Ling Qingqing and the rest were curious about Ling Xiao's behavior, but they did not disturb him. After a few hours, when Ling Xiao and the rest entered the Desolation Mountains, they saw 2 towering mountains in front of them. Ling Qingqing and Xia Hongxiu were pleasantly surprised. Twin mountains. The spirit spring is in the middle of the twin mountains. Let's speed up, Ling Qingqing said to Ling Xiao. On the other hand, Ling Xiao's eyes narrowed. The 2 enormous mountains were very close to each other, and they faintly emanated a trace of terrifying sword intent. It was like 2 divine swords that shot into the sky, and it caused one's mind to tremble. Moreover, Ling Xiao noticed that they weren't twin mountains at all. They were a towering mountain that had been split apart at the center to form 2 peaks. Such terrifying sword intent and combat strength. The person who split the mountain apart was at least a peerless expert at the monarch realm. Chapter 246. In the middle of the twin mountains was the one-line sky. The space between the 2 mountain peaks was only a dozen meters wide. Looking up, the mountain walls pierced straight into the sky, covering the sky and the sun. When they arrived at the one-line sky, Ling Xiao could feel the terror of the sword intent. To be able to condense for 10,000 years without dissipating, this sword Dao was truly terrifying. Everyone be careful. The spiritual fountain should be nearby. Everyone look carefully. The one-line sky was shrouded in a thin layer of white mist, obstructing everyone's vision. They could only feel their way forward. Ling Qingqing's voice was a little excited. There were black mountain walls on both sides and gravel at their feet. Everyone's eyes were alert as they carefully walked into the white mist. After walking for an unknown period of time, Ling Xiao realized that they were still within the range of the white mist. Ling Xiao also felt that the white mist in front of him had a faint mysterious rhythm. Stop. We've already fallen into a formation. I didn't expect to encounter a natural maze formation. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. Maze formation? Ling Qingqing's eyes revealed a trace of doubt. That's right. If I'm not wrong, the earth chi here intertwines and the spiritual veins are broken. This white mist is formed by the earth chi. With the mysterious topography of the one-line sky, it formed a natural maze formation. That's why we've been walking for so long, but we're just walking on the same spot. Ling Xiao said plainly. Buzz. Ling Xiao's powerful spiritual energy spread out. He could clearly sense that the flow of the white mist was like a whirlpool. It had a strange rhythm, causing everyone to be led by the nose. Is there a way to break the formation? Li Chengfeng asked. Yes. Ling Xiao nodded affirmatively. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Since there's a maze formation, it means that the spiritual fountain is nearby. Don't move, I'll break the formation. This so-called maze formation was mysterious. However, for someone with powerful spiritual energy like Ling Xiao, he could easily see through the essence of the maze formation. Whoosh! Ling Xiao leaped up and stepped on the mountain walls on both sides. He jumped hundreds of feet high. However, the white mist seemed to rise with him. The surroundings were white, and they couldn't tell the direction. It's just a maze formation. Break it for me. A golden vortex flickered in Ling Xiao's eyes. He looked in a direction within the white fog and punched out. Rumble. Ling Xiao's punch landed somewhere in the white mist, causing a loud bang. Then, a huge mountain wall was shattered by Ling Xiao's punch. The ground trembled slightly, as if the mountains on both sides were about to collapse. Li Chengfeng and the others' expressions changed slightly. Roar. Following that, a gale roared and strong winds blew. The white fog churned violently and was sucked in by a powerful wind. In an instant, it became very chaotic. The white fog gradually dissipated, and only then did everyone realize that there was a bottomless abyss a few feet in front of them. If it weren't for Ling Xiao's vigilance, they might have really stepped into it. This damned maze formation. Li Chengfeng and the rest had a look of fear on their faces. Ling Xiao, how did you break this maze array? Ling Qingqing asked curiously. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, It's very simple. This maze array was originally formed because of the special terrain of the one-line sky. Look at that mountain wall. It's the weakest point. It's also the eye of the wind. After I pierced through it, the wind surged and broke the intertwining qi activity here. Naturally, the maze array was broken. Sure enough, after the white fog dissipated, the place Ling Xiao was pointing at had a large hole punched out by Ling Xiao. It was as if a mountain wall had been pierced through. The wind howled angrily, emitting ghostly wails and howls. The tranquility of the entire one-line sky was instantly broken. Ling Qingqing's beautiful eyes shone with a strange light. Ling Xiao made it sound easy, but it wasn't that easy to do. If he didn't see through the maze formation at first glance, how could he find a way to break it and punch out the eye of the wind? You said that this maze formation was formed by the intertwining of qi and spiritual veins. Could it be that the spiritual spring is underground? Ling Qingqing suddenly thought of Ling Xiao's words, and her eyes revealed a trace of surprise. That's right. To be exact, it should be in this abyss. Ling Xiao smiled and pointed at the bottomless abyss in front of them. The abyss in front of them was pitch black, like a crack in the ground. It emitted a mysterious aura, and the white fog was actually dissipating from the abyss. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go down quickly. Chengfeng's eyes instantly lit up as he said excitedly, It's better to be careful. After all, we don't know what's in the abyss. Xia Hongxiu, who had been silent all this time, spoke up. For some reason, this abyss was like the mouth of a primordial beast, as if it contained some unknown danger. It made people feel a chill in their hearts. Princess is right. Let me go down and check it out first. If it's safe, you guys can come down. Ling Xiao looked at the abyss below, and a strange light suddenly flashed in his eyes. Let me go down. Ling Xiao, you protect them from above. Chengfeng chuckled. He was quite loyal. With a flash of light in his hand, a dagger appeared, and he prepared to jump into the abyss. I'll do it. My qinggong is much better than yours. Ling Xiao pulled Chengfeng and patted his shoulder. Without waiting for him to speak, he jumped into the abyss. This brat is too reckless. Ling Qingqing couldn't stop him and laughed bitterly. I haven't heard of any danger in the spiritual spring. Everyone, don't worry. Ling Xiao should be coming up soon. Xia Hongxiu also comforted them. In the abyss. Although Ling Xiao was only at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, his Xiantian Gang Qi was extremely dense. At this moment, his powerful cultivation erupted, and a ball of golden Gang Qi gathered under his feet, carrying him quickly into the abyss. The reason why Ling Xiao wanted to check it out was because when he stood above the abyss, the wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness actually trembled slightly and let out a trace of excitement. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that there was something in this abyss that attracted the wordless heavenly book? As Ling Xiao sneaked into the abyss, the hole above him became so small that it was almost undetectable. After about 1,000 feet, Ling Xiao's feet finally touched the bottom of the abyss. It was pitch black all around, and the faint sound of water dripping could be heard. It was extremely quiet. Ling Xiao's mental strength was extremely strong, and the surrounding darkness was clearly visible to his eyes. At the bottom of the abyss, there was actually an extremely huge underground cave. Moreover, in front of Ling Xiao, there was a faint light that emitted an extremely pure spiritual qi fluctuation. That's the spiritual spring. Chapter 247. The dark cave was like an underground world, incomparably vast. There were strange stones all around, and above his head hung clusters of stones, like arrows, sharp and sharp. But about 100 zhang in front of Ling Xiao, there was a spring water, emitting a misty light, and wisps of white spiritual mist pervaded the air. Ling Xiao slowly walked forward, stopping in front of the spring water. In front of him was a stone pool with a radius of several zhang. At the bottom of the pool, there was a thin layer of crystal clear spring water, surrounded by white mist. And in the middle of the stone pool, a pinky-sized spring water gushed out, looking gorgeous and dazzling. In the darkness, there was a different kind of beauty. Whoosh! A sense of danger rose in Ling Xiao's heart, and then there was the sound of something breaking through the air, like a bolt of silver lightning. Without thinking, Ling Xiao used his palm as a knife and chopped down. Clang! As if he had struck a metal rock, sparks and light burst out. The silver lightning in front of him was knocked back by Ling Xiao, falling into the spiritual spring. Hiss! At this time, Ling Xiao discovered that the silver lightning was a small silver snake. It looked to be only a foot long, and its whole body was shining with silver light, as if it had merged with the spring water. There was a small horn on the snake's head, and a cold and bloodthirsty look appeared in the snake's eyes. It flicked its tongue and stared at Ling Xiao. It's actually a silver-ringed lightning snake? I didn't expect there to be such a wild beast here. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, recognizing the origin of the silver snake in front of him. Legend had it that the silver-ringed lightning snake had a trace of the bloodline of the true dragon. A mature silver-ringed lightning snake could not only ride the clouds, but also control lightning. Its speed was extremely fast, and its strength was monstrous. Just like the silver-ringed lightning snake in front of him, it was only in its infancy, and was only a rank 4 demonic beast. But after being struck by Ling Xiao's palm knife, it was actually unharmed. And that speed made Ling Xiao's heart tremble. Perhaps even a martial scholar expert would be bitten by the silver-ringed lightning snake, if they were not prepared. The silver-ringed lightning snake was highly toxic, and extremely difficult to neutralize. Even a martial scholar expert would die without a doubt if they were bitten. Hiss! The silver-ringed lightning snake let out a soft hiss, and there seemed to be silver lightning flashing in its mouth. In the next moment it broke through the air, and bit at Ling Xiao's neck from a very tricky angle. Bastard, you're courting death. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He grabbed at the snake from the air. Golden divine light flashed in his hand, and he instantly grabbed the snake's vital point. How terrifying was Ling Xiao's divine strength. Even though the silver-ringed lightning snake was a savage mutant, with its weak point pinched by Ling Xiao, it instantly wilted. Its eyes actually revealed a hint of a human begging for mercy. A mere rank 4 demonic beast actually has such a strong intelligence. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. Since this silver-ringed lightning snake was born from the spirit spring, it would naturally treat the spirit spring as its own territory. And this astonishing spirituality was probably caused by the spirit spring. Fine, I can spare your life. Are you willing to submit to me? Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as he said indifferently. Hiss! The silver-ringed lightning snake nodded repeatedly, causing Ling Xiao to be speechless. It simply did not have any of the pride of a demonic beast. Wang! Ling Xiao pointed out a finger, and a sharp light landed on the silver-ringed lightning snake's body. He extracted a drop of blood, and then drew a mysterious rune in the air. Together with the drop of blood, he fused it with the silver-ringed lightning snake's head. Slave seal. This was a special method used to enslave demonic beasts. After being inflicted with the slave seal, not only would the silver-ringed lightning snake be innately close to Ling Xiao, it would also not go against Ling Xiao's wishes. With just a thought, Ling Xiao could control the silver-ringed lightning snake's life and death. If this silver-ringed lightning snake can be nurtured, it can be considered a top-notch demonic beast. I can leave it for Shui Wei to protect herself. Ling Xiao smiled slightly and released the restraints on the silver-ringed lightning snake. The silver-ringed lightning snake instantly landed on Ling Xiao's shoulder. The cold look in its eyes became incomparably gentle. It used its head to gently rub against Ling Xiao in an extremely intimate manner. This silver-ringed lightning snake's defense is extremely strong. I'm afraid that even ordinary bejeweled weapons would find it difficult to break through its snake scales. Moreover, when it breaks through to rank 5, its snake venom would probably be able to poison even a heaven-tier powerhouse to death. Ling Xiao thought to himself. With a thought, the silver-ringed lightning snake instantly turned into a streak of silver lightning and coiled around Ling Xiao's wrist. It looked like a silver bracelet and was extremely beautiful. Ling Xiao checked the spirit spring again, and did not find any danger. He then flew out of the abyss and brought Ling Qingqing, Li Chengfeng and the rest down. It really is the legendary spirit spring. But isn't this spirit spring a little too thin? Li Chengfeng's face was filled with excitement as he walked around the spirit spring. However, when he saw that the spirit spring was only as thick as a pinky finger, he said with some disappointment, "You should be content with what you have." Ling Qingqing looked at him exasperatedly and said, "If it was a large spirit spring, it would have been plundered by the sacred lands long ago. Although this spirit spring is very small, it's enough for us to break through to the next realm. Let's cultivate here for the next 3 days. When the Yin-Yang Valley opens, we'll go over." That's right. Although this spirit spring is small, it contains an incomparably majestic spiritual qi. It's much stronger than the spiritual qi in spirit crystals. It's enough for the 6 of us to cultivate. Xia Hongxiu also nodded and said, "Hee, it's best if we break through a few realms in one go. When that happens, we'll see if those bastards from the great Huang ancient country still dare to look down on us." Li Chengfeng's eyes were filled with eagerness. The siblings Lu Feng and Lu Yun were also very excited, especially since Lu Yun was only at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. Perhaps he could use this spirit spring to break through to the Grandmaster realm in one go. Even without the Yin-Yang Valley, this spirit spring was still a huge harvest. This rock pool is not small. Everyone go ahead and cultivate, Ling Qingqing said with a smile. Everyone nodded excitedly. Then they walked into the spirit spring and sat down cross-legged to cultivate. Boom! A powerful aura spread out, and the majestic spiritual qi in the spirit spring began to surge towards everyone. The spiritual qi was as vast as the sea, but it was also very gentle. It was absorbed and refined by everyone, and their cultivation began to increase bit by bit. Ling Xiao also sat cross-legged in the spirit spring. Golden divine light lingered around him as the sky-devouring secret technique instantly erupted. Rumble! It was as if there was a 5-colored divine light surrounding Ling Xiao's body. The power of the 5 elements flowed, and the sky-devouring spirit seed buzzed. Heaven-devouring true qi spread out, turning Ling Xiao into a huge vortex. He began to rapidly devour the spiritual qi in the spirit spring. The incomparably pure spiritual qi was devoured and refined by Ling Xiao. It quickly turned into heaven-devouring true qi and integrated into Ling Xiao's huge sea of qi. His cultivation began to slowly increase. Chapter 248. The spiritual spring was created by the heavens and earth. It was formed by the dragon veins and earth qi. Just like those martial holy lands, there were precious spiritual springs that could turn a mountain into a pure land. The concentration of spiritual qi there was far greater than the outside world. However, the spiritual spring in the abyss was too small. Otherwise, Ling Xiao and the rest would not have gotten it. They would have been taken away by the martial holy lands. Ling Xiao used the sky-devouring secret technique and quickly devoured the majestic spiritual qi in the spiritual spring. The aura around him surged and golden light shrouded him. The five-colored divine light turned him into a devouring vortex. The scene was extremely shocking. This guy. He can even cause such a big commotion when he's cultivating. Ling Qingqing's eyes lit up. Her heart was slightly shaken, but she only smiled bitterly and shook her head. She continued to refine the spiritual spring. Xia Hongxiu's eyes also showed a trace of shock and bitterness. She took a deep breath and began to cultivate. The aura that came from Ling Xiao's body shocked Xia Hongxiu. She guessed that Ling Xiao might have cultivated an extremely powerful Tian-tier martial art. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to be so terrifying. Xia Hongxiu was a little disappointed. The gap between them was getting bigger and bigger. She began to feel a faint sense of regret. Ling Xiao was immersed in cultivation. As the majestic spiritual qi in the spiritual spring was refined, his cultivation became stronger and stronger. Boom. After a few hours, a strong wave of cultivation spread out. Ling Xiao's cultivation had broken through to the 5th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. However, more than half of the spiritual spring in the rock pool was devoured by Ling Xiao. This spiritual spring is enough for a grandmaster to break through a few levels. However, I only broke through one level. It seems that if I want to continue to break through, this spiritual spring is not enough. Ling Xiao smiled bitterly and woke up from his cultivation state. He had several peerless godly techniques. Furthermore, Ling Xiao had broken through to the 10th level of the complete realm in each of his realms. This made his accumulation very strong, which made it much harder for him to break through. Therefore, Ling Xiao did not plan to continue cultivating. Breaking through 1 or 2 levels would not affect his combat strength much. Unless he could break through to the Grandmaster realm in one go. Ling Xiao stood up from the spiritual spring. He did not disturb Ling Qingqing, Li Chengfeng and the rest. Instead, he headed deeper into the cave. For some reason, the wordless heavenly book in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness became more and more agitated after he arrived at the underground cave. The direction seemed to be the depths of the underground cave. There was something there that had a strong attraction to the wordless heavenly book. Could it be some kind of heavenly treasure? A glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes as he followed the strange undulations and walked forward. The underground cave was vast, and there were many dark passageways leading to unknown areas. Ling Xiao followed the strange tunnel and crossed an underground river. He saw countless strange rocks and even some broken corpses and weapons in the tunnel. It was quiet all around, except for the occasional sound of water dripping. The further they walked, the colder the air became. The coldness seemed to come from the bottom of their hearts, making them shudder. Ling Xiao instinctively felt that he couldn't go any further. There was a fatal danger ahead. But at this moment, the wordless heavenly book shone brightly in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, releasing waves of anticipation. It was as if there was something in front that was attracting the wordless heavenly book more and more. Let's go take a look. Ling Xiao hesitated for a moment, but decided to continue. There were many secrets in the 8 desolate secret territory. This was the first feeling Ling Xiao had when he arrived. The calamity 10,000 years ago should have happened after Ling Xiao's death. The weakening of the Chongsun sect, the destruction of the 4 ancient nations, and Jinsei's disappearance all pointed to that mysterious calamity. Only by finding the cause of that calamity would he be able to find information about Jinsei and the rest. Ling Xiao could faintly feel that the 8 desolate secret territory was not simple. Logically speaking, the 8 desolate secret territory was the battlefield of that calamity 10,000 years ago. It contained the treasures and legacies of the 4 ancient nations. But who would spend so much effort to seal off such a large area? This feeling was as if the 8 desolate secret territory had become a prison, imprisoning something terrifying. If it was not for the fact that the seal had weakened after 10,000 years, and the fact that the martial Holy Lands had worked together to break open the 8 desolate secret territory, and take away a large amount of legacies and treasures, no one would know the whereabouts of the 8 desolate secret territory. Perhaps the truth that Ling Xiao was looking for was hidden under the heavy fog. The underground cave was unexpectedly huge. Ling Xiao passed through a few forks and walked for 100 miles before coming to a stop. In front of them, a mysterious underground sea appeared. The sea water was black and endless, with no end in sight. However, above the sea water, there were strands of strange black fog floating. There was no sound of flowing water. The black sea before him was deathly still and calm. However, Ling Xiao felt a fatal danger from the seawater. That is, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he stared at the black mist above the sea. The strange black mist floated slowly, as if it had a life of its own. It changed into various mysterious shapes and exuded a faint dark and evil aura. Ling Xiao was shocked because the strange black mist was exactly the same as the one he had encountered in the mysterious bronze divine palace in the fierce beast mountain range. It was the aura of the strange creatures. Strange creatures. Could it be that the calamity 10,000 years ago was related to those strange creatures? Ling Xiao's expression changed slightly as he thought of a possibility. Buzz. When Ling Xiao saw the black mist seemed to have seen Ling Xiao as well. It quickly spread toward Ling Xiao. Boom. Ling Xiao struck out with his palm, and a vast amount of energy exploded. The wind from his palm whistled and swept away the black mist. However, it seemed to have hit nothing. The strange mist was not affected at all. It continued to gather, and then approached Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was about to do something when the wordless heavenly book in his sea of consciousness moved. Swoosh. A brilliant light spread out from between Ling Xiao's eyebrows and turned into a huge vortex, swallowing all the strange mist. Boom. The wordless heavenly book's action seemed to have angered the black mist. The black mist in the sea actually rioted at this moment. The mist that covered the sky and the earth contained a cold and evil aura. It was as if it was going to drag people into hell forever, as it whizzed over. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The excited fluctuations from the wordless heavenly book grew stronger and stronger. The light that shot out from between Ling Xiao's eyebrows also grew brighter. Strands of light intertwined like divine chains and flashed with strange runes that Ling Xiao could not understand. Chapter 249. After the wordless heavenly book devoured the strange black fog, it actually gave back traces of mysterious energy. Traces of warm aura blended into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, causing Ling Xiao's mental strength to begin to grow. Ling Xiao was shocked. He could feel the wordless heavenly book's desire for the strange black fog. After suffering such a huge loss, the black fog seemed to have realized the power of the vortex in the void. It seemed to have been frightened and fled into the sea. Boom. But how could the wordless heavenly book let go? Suddenly, a dazzling light shone in the void, illuminating the underground cave. From the vortex in the void, strands of mysterious light emerged and swept in all directions. Immediately, a large amount of black fog was captured and refined by the wordless heavenly book. Rumble. At this moment, the calm sea in front of him suddenly began to boil. The waves surged and rolled, faintly forming a huge whirlpool. It was as if some unknown existence had awakened. A fatal danger shrouded his heart, and Ling Xiao's expression changed drastically. Oh no! Ling Xiao hurriedly activated the wordless heavenly book and gave up on devouring the black fog. Although the wordless heavenly book was unwilling, it eventually quieted down. Ling Xiao was now certain that the wordless heavenly book had awakened the terrifying existence in the sea. And the black sea water. Ling Xiao realized that it was formed by the strange black fog. Moreover, there was a mysterious power of law intertwined in it, binding a large amount of black fog and preventing it from escaping. The vast sea is actually formed by the strange black fog. What exactly is sealed in it? Ling Xiao felt his scalp go numb. He exerted all his cultivation and turned to run. Rumble. The black fog surged like a huge wave. In the huge vortex, a huge head slowly emerged. Crack. Black lightning spread across the void. Strands of black fog rose as if cheering and galloping. The head was as big as a small mountain. It was impossible to see its appearance clearly. Moreover, there was a strange ancient sword on the head, emitting a peerless sharpness. The head emerged from the sea of black fog, emitting a peerless evil spirit that made the world tremble. A pair of blood-red moon-like eyes slowly opened. Rumble. It was as if he was a peerless ferocious beast that swallowed the heavens. His eyes were cold, bloodthirsty, and contained a monstrous rage. After being stared at by him, Ling Xiao felt as if his entire body had sunk into mud, unable to move. This strange creature is able to trigger the power of the natural laws of heaven and earth. At the very least, it has the power of a supremacy. How can there be such a terrifying creature in the 8 desolate mystic realm? Ling Xiao's heart trembled as an incomparably grave expression appeared in his eyes. At the same time, the sense of danger in his heart rose to the extreme. Being stared at by such a terrifying creature, Ling Xiao felt a sense of helplessness. The gap was too big. Rumble. At this moment, there seemed to be countless runes shining above his head, bursting out in a mighty manner. Like a canopy in the sky, a blazing wave of divine light burst out in an instant, suppressing the terrifying creature below. At this moment, Ling Xiao's body felt light. Without even thinking, he unleashed all of his cultivation and shot off into the distance like a bolt of golden lightning. Boom. Behind him, a terrifying divine light burst out, completely enveloping the terrifying creature. At a place where Ling Xiao couldn't see, the ancient sword that was inserted into the head of the terrifying being suddenly erupted with a peerless sword light that swept out in all directions. It was mighty, masculine, and vast, and it evaporated a large expanse of the sea of black mist. Roar. Wait until I break out of the seal. I will slaughter the entire 8 desolate mystic realm. A terrifying voice reverberated in the karst cave, but it did not shatter a single rock. It was as if there was some mysterious power that had confined this space. The terrifying creature unwillingly fell silent. However, the strange ancient sword above his head had been forced out by him by more than half. Only the tip of the sword was left, as if it had triggered the power of the natural laws, firmly suppressing the creature. Ling Xiao flew for dozens of miles. When there was no movement behind him, he finally stopped. There was a trace of fear in his eyes. The 8 desolate mystic realm is indeed a place where great evil is sealed. If not for the seal, I'm afraid I would have died there. Ling Xiao laughed bitterly as he muttered to himself. However, Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with doubt. This was because Ling Xiao had felt a very familiar aura from the seal that had erupted, but he could not recall it. Ling Xiao shook his head and looked around. He realized that he had come to an unfamiliar place. In front of him was an underground river that twisted and turned, leading into the distance. They are cultivating in that spiritual spring. It should be very safe. I'd better go out and investigate. Following this underground river, I should be able to find the exit. Ling Xiao thought for a moment and flew into the distance. The underground river was indeed connected to the outside world. When Ling Xiao followed the underground river and left the karst cave, he saw a huge waterfall in front of him. The cliff was thousands of feet high, and the huge waterfall rushed down. The surging waves were majestic and majestic. The huge pool below the waterfall turned into a huge river that flowed towards the mountains in the distance. Over there, Ling Xiao could vaguely see a dilapidated palace complex. Furthermore, there were figures flashing. Are they from the great Huang ancient country? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. In an instant, he concealed his aura and sneaked into the distance. Ling Xiao's mental strength was very strong, and his eyesight was also very sharp. Therefore, he easily discovered that the 3 people were following Huang Yunji. However, looking at their sneaky figures, he did not know what they were planning. Ling Xiao's mouth curved into a smile as he quietly crept towards the 3 people. Why do you think the 7th prince wants us to follow the people from the great Xian ancient country? Can't he just capture them and interrogate them? Why is it so troublesome? A voice said with dissatisfaction. It's not as simple as you think. I heard that although Ji Shuiyao's cultivation is only at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, her combat strength is extremely abnormal. Even the 7th prince is wary of her. Anyway, no matter what treasure they find, it will definitely be ours. Another voice said calmly. However, these little girls are really beautiful. Their figures are simply enough to make one's bones go soft. Hee, when the 7th prince is done, we brothers will also have a good time. That's a good idea. Ha ha ha. Be alert. Don't be discovered by them. The 7th prince will be here soon. The 3 geniuses from the great Huang ancient country whispered. Not far away, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and revealed a trace of coldness. Chapter 250. The dilapidated palaces were located between two mountains. One could still see the glorious buildings from 10,000 years ago, but now, they were all in ruins. Ling Xiao could see that Ji Shuiyao and the rest had already entered the ruins, and the three from the Great Huang ancient country quickly followed behind. This is the spiritual herbal garden? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. There were actually some spiritual herbs growing in the ruins. Although they were very ordinary, from the size of the area, it should have been a huge spiritual herbal garden in the past. Ji Shuiyao and the rest carefully inspected the ruins, but did not pick any of the spiritual herbs. Finally, they stopped in front of a large green rock. The three from the Great Huang ancient country were hiding far away, and their auras were completely concealed. It was as if they had some kind of aura-concealing treasure on them. Ordinary people would not be able to discover them. Ji Shuiyao and the rest looked around vigilantly. Then they surrounded the large green rock. A golden jade pendant appeared in Ji Shuiyao's hand, emitting a dazzling light. Buzz! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he saw Ji Shuiyao imprint the jade pendant on the large green rock. The large green rock rippled like water, and a fragrance spread out. Then Ji Shuiyao and the rest revealed an incomparably excited expression. They stepped into the ripples and disappeared in front of the large green rock. It's actually a mustard seed array? It seems like the treasure Ji Shuiyao is looking for should be in that large green rock. Ling Xiao was a little surprised. That large green rock was actually a camouflage. It used a mustard seed array to cover the void and hide the treasure. This method was very powerful, and it meant that there must be a great treasure inside. Ling Xiao did not act rashly. Since the people from the Great Huang ancient country wanted to be the mantis, he didn't mind being the oriole. There's actually a mustard seed array in this spiritual herbal garden. Ha. It seems like there must be an unimaginable treasure inside. Quickly informed the seventh prince. The three from the Great Huang ancient country revealed an incomparably excited expression. Ji Shuiyao opening the entrance of the large green rock gave the three of them a shock. If it wasn't for Ji Shuiyao, they wouldn't have been able to find the treasure no matter what. Not long after, Huang Yunji brought a few people over. The faint sense of danger in Ling Xiao's heart rose again. It seems that the Wanshou sect's people are hiding among these people. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as he glanced at Huang Yunji and the other geniuses from the Grand Huang ancient country. In the end, Ling Xiao's gaze landed on an ordinary-looking young man behind Huang Yunji. The young man looked ordinary, and his cultivation was only at LV1 of the Supreme Power Realm. It was easy for people to ignore his existence, but in Ling Xiao's eyes, this ordinary-looking young man in a black robe was the source of the danger in his heart. It's actually a powerhouse at the first level of the heaven tier. The Wanshou sect really put in a lot of effort. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. His spiritual energy was extremely powerful, and he could sense that the black-robed young man was exuding a faint celestial qi. After all, he was only at the first tier of the celestial realm. That kind of aura of being one with the heavens, and the earth was not so easy to conceal. Ling Xiao could feel that the reason why the black-robed young man looked so simple was because his entire being seemed to have become one with the heavens and the earth, making it easy for people to overlook his existence. However, with the seal of the 8 Desolation Secret Land, the highest combat strength here is only at LV9 of the Supreme Power Realm. If you want to die, I don't mind fulfilling your wish. Ling Xiao thought to himself. The reason why Xiaolong and the other 3 Celestial Realm powerhouses did not enter the 8 Desolation Secret Land was not only that the 4 of them were needed to maintain the entrance, but also that the seal of the 8 Desolation Secret Land was very strong. Even a noble realm powerhouse could only exert combat strength at LV9 of the Supreme Power Realm. Therefore, in the 8 Desolation Secret Land, there was nothing for Ling Xiao to be afraid of except for those unknown and terrifying existences. They have already entered. 7th Prince, let's go in quickly. The 3 men from the Grand Huang ancient country hurriedly reported to Huang Yunji. Very well. Today, not only will the treasure be mine, but Ji Shuiyao will also be mine. The other women of the Grand Xian ancient country will be rewarded to you. Let's go. Huang Yunji's eyes revealed a hint of passion as he laughed heartily. Thank you, 7th Prince. Everyone roared in agreement. and their eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. The Grand Xian ancient country was backed by the Jade Lake sect, so the majority of the geniuses were women. The women of the Grand Xian ancient country had celestial skin and jade bones. Even the geniuses of the Grand Huang ancient country were no exception. In their eyes, as long as the seventh prince was here, whether it was the treasure or the people of the Grand Xian ancient country, everything was already in the bag. Huang Yunji and the others also entered the mustard seed array on the green rock. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he followed after a moment. Buzz. With a flash of light, Ling Zhao appeared in a valley. In front of him were green mountains and a few towering ancient trees. The valley was filled with exotic flowers and plants. There was also a small green lake that was as clear and calm as a mirror. After entering the array, Ling Zhao instantly turned into a ray of light and flew up an ancient tree without making any noise. Ji Shuiyao's group and Huang Yunji's group didn't notice Ling Zhao. They were facing each other hundreds of meters away from him with an unfriendly expression. Beside them, there was an ancient tree that was about 1 zhang tall. Its branches were knotted, and its leaves were sparse. However, it emitted an emerald green radiance. There were more than 10 golden peaches hanging from its branches. They were like flames, flowing with gorgeous golden multicolored light. Moreover, there was an enticing aroma that lifted the spirits of those who smelled it. It's the immortality peach ancient tree? Ling Zhao's eyes widened, and a look of shock appeared on his face. He immediately recognized that this ancient tree was the legendary immortality peach ancient tree. It was a top spirit root comparable to a king medicine. The immortality peach ancient tree sprouted once every 300 years, bloomed once every 300 years, and bore fruit once every 300 years. The immortality peach ancient tree had a very mysterious effect. Not only could it help a cultivator to be reborn, but it could also increase one's aptitude and cultivation. More importantly, the immortality peach ancient tree could extend one's life by 300 years. One had to know that a grandmaster only had a lifespan of 200 years. Even if they broke through to the heaven realm, they wouldn't live past 500 years. If the cultivators who were nearing the end of their lifespan knew that one immortality peach ancient tree could increase one's lifespan by 300 years, they would definitely fight for it. I've never heard of the immortality peach ancient tree in the 8 great ancient countries. Could it be that they obtained it later? No wonder Ji Shuiyao is so anxious about the treasures here. If they knew about the existence of the immortality peach ancient tree, I'm afraid all the old guys in the martial Holy Lands would go crazy. Ling Zhao thought to himself as a smile appeared on his face. Chapter 251. The Immortality Peach Tree? I didn't expect the 8 Desolation secret territory to have such a treasure. It seems like this prince is truly blessed today. Ji Shuiyao, are you going to surrender or wait for me to make a move? Huang Yunji stared at the Immortality Peach Tree in front of him. His eyes were filled with greed as he stared at Ji Shuiyao. The people from the Grand Yellow Ancient Kingdom surrounded Ji Shuiyao's group with an unfriendly expression. In terms of cultivation, the Grand Yellow Ancient Kingdom was 1 level higher than the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom. Outside of Huang Yunji, who was a 6th level Grandmaster, there was another 5th level Grandmaster and a 4th level Grandmaster. On the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom's side, Ji Shuiyao was at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm while the strongest was only at the 4th level. However, in terms of cultivation, the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom would definitely be at a disadvantage in a real battle. This was why Huang Yunji was so fearless. Ji Shuiyao stood in front of Huang Yunji with a veil covering her face and a snow-white robe. At this moment, there was a hint of coldness in her bright eyes. Huang Yunji, this immortality peach tree was found by my Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom. If you leave now, I will let bygones be bygones. Ji Shuiyao's voice was cold as she exuded an otherworldly aura like a goddess from the Moon Palace. No one dared to look at her directly. Huang Yunji greedily stared at Ji Shuiyao's body as if he wanted to strip her naked. He suppressed the evil fire in his heart and sneered. Princess Shuiyao, the treasures in the 8 Desolation secret territory are all ownerless. If you want to obtain a treasure, you must rely on your strength. What a joke. What qualifications do you have to say that I will let bygones be bygones? Let me tell you, today, not only will I have the immortality peach tree, but I will also have you. How dare you? The young men and women from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom angrily glared at Huang Yunji. In their eyes, Ji Shuiyao was a supreme goddess from the 9 heavens. No one could profane her. Huang Yunji's words had touched their reverse scale. The people from the Grand Yellow Ancient Kingdom also snorted and took a step forward. Their powerful auras caused the people from the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom to lose their colors. Princess Shuiyao, have you thought it through? As long as you agree to be my woman, then from now on, our Grand Yellow Ancient Kingdom and the Grand Mysterious Ancient Kingdom will be the strongest allies. Also, it is your fortune to be able to become the women of our geniuses. Huang Yunji had an arrogant look on his face as he swept his gaze across Ji Shuiyao and the other pretty girls. I've thought it through. Ji Shuiyao nodded her head, a strange look in her eyes. Oh. So Shuiyao, you've agreed. Ha, don't worry, I will definitely love you dearly. Huang Yunji's eyes lit up, and his heart burned with passion. I've thought it through. You deserve to die. Ji Shuiyao's eyes suddenly flashed with a cold light. She shot forward like a beam of light, exuding an unparalleled sword intent. Her finger was like a sword, and a powerful sword light pierced towards Huang Yunji's forehead. This move was earth-shattering. The terrifying sword intent pressed down on Huang Yunji, causing his expression to change drastically. You're courting death. Huang Yunji's eyes became incomparably gloomy. His cultivation of the 6th level of the Grandmaster realm erupted as he sent a palm strike towards Ji Shuiyao. In his opinion, although Ji Shuiyao was rumored to be extremely powerful, she was only at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. She was no match for him. Boom. The sword intent was pure and vast as if it could encompass heaven and earth. It actually penetrated Huang Yunji's palm strike in an instant and shot towards his forehead like lightning. Mysterious Heaven Sword Technique. Huang Yunji's expression changed drastically. He instantly saw through the mystery of the sword intent and became extremely embarrassed. He had to use all of his cultivation to barely dodge the sword light. However, a trace of blood was left behind between his eyebrows. Huang Yunji's expression instantly became extremely ugly. No wonder Princess Shuiyao's cultivation of the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm can suppress a Grandmaster realm expert. It turns out that she has cultivated the heaven-level low-grade mysterious heaven sword technique. However, you're not the only one who knows heaven-level martial arts. Die. Huang Yunji said with a ferocious expression. There was a flash of light in his hand, and an azure gold battle saber appeared, emitting a cold light. At the same time, a roaring lion seemed to appear behind him. Its aura was monstrous and oppressive. As Huang Yunji raised his battle saber, it pressed down from the sky. Mad Lion Rage Saber. Huang Yunji's body exuded an overbearing aura as he slashed his saber toward Ji Shuiyao. The Mad Lion Rage Saber was a peerless martial art of the Great Huang ancient country. It was a heaven-level low-grade saber. When used, it was like an ancient lion destroying the world. However, Ling Xiao, who was hiding at the side, shook his head. He could see that this Mad Lion Rage Saber required an indomitable aura and a domineering aura. Although Huang Yunji seemed to be very powerful when using it, Ling Xiao was able to see the flaws in the saber technique with a single glance. Huang Yunji's domineering aura was arrogant and despotic. He had not truly comprehended the true meaning of the Mad Lion Rage Saber. In comparison, Ji Shuiyao surprised Ling Xiao because she had cultivated the mysterious heaven sword art to the small completion stage. Moreover, there was a very powerful bloodline power in Ji Shuiyao's body that made Ling Xiao feel threatened. Ji Shuiyao's bloodline was very mysterious. Mad Lion Rage Saber? Ji Shuiyao's eyes flashed. She leaped into the air like a goddess. Her figure was ethereal, and an ancient blue sword appeared in her hand as well. It emitted a dazzling light. Sword chi swept across the void, and a mighty sword will exploded. Slash. Ji Shuiyao spat. In an instant, a dazzling sword light slashed down toward Huang Yunji, forming a huge blue sword light in the void. Boom. When the saber and sword collided, It was as if thunder had exploded in the void. Endless light shot out in all directions, and the lion in the void exploded. Ji Shuiyao and Huang Yunji's bodies trembled, and they were both sent flying. Ji Shuiyao was like a fairy as she spun in the void before landing gracefully on the ground. Huang Yunji, on the other hand, was in a sorry state. He flew back dozens of feet and almost fell on his butt. This woman's battle strength is too abnormal. Huang Yunji secretly thought as a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Everyone attack. Kill all the men and capture the women. Huang Yunji's voice was incomparably cold. Yes, the people from the great yellow ancient country trembled and erupted with all their cultivation as they charged toward the geniuses from the great mysterious ancient country. Form the battle formation of 4 symbols and slaughter everyone from the great yellow ancient country. Ji Shuiyao's eyes revealed a trace of killing intent as she coldly ordered. The 8 geniuses from the great mysterious ancient country also responded. They formed groups of 4 and formed the battle formation of 4 symbols as they charged forward. Chapter 252. The battle broke out in an instant. Although the people from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom were weaker, the battle formation of 4 symbols was quite strange. The 4 of them occupied the east, west, north, and south positions. Their auras were connected to each other, forming a grand momentum of heaven and earth that doubled their battle strength. With the battle formation of 4 symbols, each of them could erupt with 4 times their normal strength. Even when facing the geniuses of Grand Yellow Ancient Country whose cultivation was higher than theirs, they were still able to fight with greater ferocity. There were faint signs of them suppressing their opponents. What? Huang Yunji's expression changed, and his eyes became gloomy. He didn't expect the people from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom to be so difficult to deal with. He originally thought it would be easy to deal with them, but he didn't expect his side to be at a disadvantage. Whoosh! The moment Huang Yunji was distracted, a sharp sword energy slashed across his cheek and left a bloody mark. Ji Shuiyao held the blue ancient sword and used the mysterious heaven sword art. Her clothes fluttered as she soared into the air like a peerless sword goddess and charged toward Huang Yunji. Ji Shuiyao, when I catch you, I'll let you taste a fate worse than death. Huang Yunji flew into a rage. His face was ferocious. Holding the azurite saber in his hand, he rushed over with a violent aura. Clang! Huang Yunji used the wild lion blade. The blade energy was incomparably sharp and slashed through the air. However, it was blocked by the blue ancient sword in Ji Shuiyao's hand and erupted with a bright divine light. Huang Yunji, on the other hand, felt a strong force coming from the ancient blue sword. His arm went numb, and the green gold saber in his hand almost flew out of his hand. Wild lion roar! Huang Yunji roared. The azurite saber in his hand rotated rapidly, emitting a strange sound wave. It was as fast as lightning. The sound of the saber was like the roar of a mad lion, almost making people's mind collapse. Ji Shuiyao's body also trembled, as if she was affected by the strange sound wave. She paused in the air for a moment. Kill! Huang Yunji's eyes lit up, and his azure gold battle saber slashed down without hesitation. The violent saber light instantly split Ji Shuiyao in half. An afterimage? There wasn't the scene of blood splattering. Instead, an afterimage disappeared before Huang Yunji's eyes. Huang Yunji's expression changed as he felt a fatal danger coming from behind him. He didn't even think about it, and used the blade to block behind him. Boom! An unparalleled swordlight pierced towards Huang Yunji. It carried an unparalleled penetrating power, and directly collided with the azure golden saber. The violent sword chi erupted and instantly left a bloody mark on Huang Yunji's back. At the same time, the power of the ancient sword pierced through Huang Yunji's protective vigor and slammed into his body. His face reddened as he suddenly vomited blood. Good, very good. Princess Shuiyao, I've underestimated you. But it ends here. Prepare to die. Huang Yunji's eyes were filled with shock and anger. He could not imagine how Ji Shuiyao, who was only in the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, could injure him. If Ji Shuiyao had broken through to the Grandmaster realm, how terrifying would she be? Huang Yunji's heart instantly surged with a blazing killing intent. Boom! The blood qi in his body began to boil. Huang Yunji's aura rose as an endless baleful aura filled the air. The figure of a scarlet lion appeared behind him. Its eyes were blood red. Huang Yunji's strength began to skyrocket. Berserk Lion Demon Spirit? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. The Grand Huang ancient country was a vassal state of the Myriad Beast sect. Who would have thought that the Myriad Beast sect would learn such a method? After the death of a powerful demon beast, the Myriad Beast sect would use a secret method to extract the demon spirit and integrate it into the cultivator's body. As the cultivator's cultivation increased, the cultivator would become stronger. Furthermore, after integrating with the demon spirit, the cultivator would be able to unleash a strength that was several times stronger than before. During the battle between Ling Xiao and Shi Tianluo, if Shi Tianluo hadn't integrated with the heavenly snake demon spirit, he would have lost even faster. Although this berserk lion demon spirit wasn't comparable to Shi Tianluo's heavenly snake demon spirit, it was still very powerful. It actually increased Huang Yunji's strength by several times. Boom. Huang Yunji's black hair was scattered as his body was enveloped in a violent aura. The blade in his hand shone brightly as he slashed towards Ji Shuiyao. Ji Shuiyao's eyes also revealed a trace of seriousness. She felt a strong sense of threat from Huang Yunji's body. Whoosh. Ji Shuiyao didn't take Huang Yunji's blade head-on. Instead, she leaped and dodged. Boom. Where Ji Shuiyao was standing, a towering ancient tree instantly turned into dust. The earth trembled violently as the aura was frightening. Let's see where you can hide. Huang Yunji sneered as he soared through the air. He raised his blade and slashed downwards. Violent blade aura swept towards Ji Shuiyao. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Ji Shuiyao's clothes fluttered as she executed the astral steps. Her figure was elegant and graceful as she left behind afterimages in the air, constantly dodging Huang Yunji's attacks. Boom. After Huang Yunji's blade slashed down, Ji Shuiyao's sword soared through the air. The sword light was incomparably sharp as it slashed towards Huang Yunji from the side. However, in the next moment, Ji Shuiyao's expression changed. The berserk lion aura around Huang Yunji was extremely powerful. It was as if it had formed an aura domain, causing her sword light to instantly slow down. Kill. Huang Yunji's eyes revealed a trace of arrogance as he swung his blade. The blade light was as resplendent as the Milky Way, causing the heavens and earth to lose their color. Clang. Sparks flew in all directions as Ji Shuiyao had no choice but to take the attack head-on. She was instantly sent flying dozens of feet away as her face turned pale. Haha. Princess Shuiyao, be my woman obediently. Otherwise, you'll definitely die today. Huang Yunji laughed arrogantly. After merging with the berserk lion aura, his combat strength had reached its peak. Facing Ji Shuiyao at this moment, he had a mocking attitude. Dream on. Ji Shuiyao's cold voice resounded. The ancient sword in her hand began to vibrate as a mysterious aura rose up. It was as if a Milky Way had appeared behind Ji Shuiyao. At the same time, Ling Zhao's gaze shook. He could feel a mysterious bloodline power slowly awakening within Ji Shuiyao's body, emitting terrifying fluctuations. This kind of power isn't something that can be formed by bloodline power. Who exactly is she? Ling Zhao's heart trembled. This kind of power gave Ling Xiao the feeling that a terrifying life form had suddenly awakened within Ji Shuiyao's body. The power was so strong that even he could feel it. Could it be that Ji Shuiyao was the reincarnation of an expert? Ling Xiao thought of a possibility. Rumble. Chapter 253. Berserk Lion's Wrath. Feeling this terrifying sword essence, Huang Yunji's expression changed drastically, and he felt his scalp go numb. He slashed out with all his might. At the same time, the Berserk Lion's Wrath surged, forming a powerful True Kong defense. Boom. In an instant, heaven and earth fell silent and fell into a world of white. The Milky Way sword ray drowned Huang Yunji. The terrifying sword Qi slashed on the Berserk Lion's Wrath, destroying all the saber rays in the sky. Ah! A blood-curdling scream rang out as Huang Yunji's body was sent flying out from the heavenly river sword light. His entire body was dyed red with blood, and one of his arms had turned into dust. He coughed up blood incessantly, and his face was pale as a sheet. He was on his last breath. Ji Shuiyao's face was also pale. It was obvious that this move had taken a toll on her. Her body swayed and she almost fell. Many of the geniuses from the Great Huang ancient country were stunned. How could Ji Shuiyao have such terrifying combat strength? A stage 9 Dragon Tiger realm martial artist had seriously injured Huang Yunji. This kind of combat strength was earth-shattering. It was too demonic. Swoosh. A black-robed young man left the battlefield and caught Huang Yunji. He took out a healing pill and fed it to him. Finally, you can't help but make a move? Ling Zhao's gaze fell on the black-robed young man, revealing a trace of coldness. This black-robed young man was the danger that Ling Zhao had sensed. A Stage 1 Celestial Realm expert had disguised himself as a Stage 1 Grandmaster to sneak into the 8 desolate secret region. He had an extremely mysterious aura concealing treasure on him that had fooled the 4 Celestial Realm experts, and almost fooled Ling Zhao. Now that Huang Yunji was seriously injured, he could no longer hide. Who are you? Ji Shuiyao's gaze fell on the black-robed young man, revealing a trace of vigilance. She had not noticed before, but now that the black-robed young man had suddenly jumped out, the hidden aura was also released, making Ji Shuiyao feel a fatal threat. Uncle Sun, catch her. I want her to suffer all kinds of torture, so much so that she can neither live nor die. Huang Yunji's face was contorted as he looked at Ji Shuiyao with eyes full of hatred. The anger in his heart could not be washed away even with all the water of the 3 rivers. He looked too miserable. His clothes were in tatters and his body was covered with crisscrossing scars. Especially his left arm, which had completely disappeared. If Huang Yunji could not find the supreme elixir to regrow his severed limbs, it would mean that he would never be able to break through to the celestial being realm. Your Highness, rest well and leave the rest to me, the black-robed young man said indifferently. Then he signaled the people of the Great Huang ancient country to come over and take care of Huang Yunji, while he walked towards Ji Shuiyao and the others. Boom. An incomparably powerful aura rose from the black-robed youth's body, and his cultivation began to skyrocket at a speed visible to the naked eye. First level of the Grandmaster Realm, second level of the Grandmaster Realm, third level of the Grandmaster Realm. It was only until he reached Zongshe Realm 9 Dan that his cultivation gradually calmed down. It was as if there was some kind of mysterious force restricting his cultivation. The black-robed youth's expression was indifferent and his eyes were cold. His body emitted a violent aura that pressured Ji Shuiyao's group. The people from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom were startled. Celestial being realm expert? You are soul-chasing Spear Sunfeng. Ji Shuiyao's body trembled, and her eyes revealed a trace of seriousness. There were very few celestial being realm experts in the 4 ancient countries. Now that the black-robed youth no longer hid his identity, Ji Shuiyao instantly recognized him. Soul-chasing Spear Sunfeng's cultivation was at the first level of the celestial being realm. Although the 36-style soul-chasing spear technique was only an earth-level peerless martial skill, it had reached perfection in his hands. Sunfeng was the Grand Commander of the Great Huang ancient country's royal army, so Ji Shuiyao easily recognized him. Oh, you know me? Sunfeng's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. Ji Shuiyao said coldly, I didn't expect the Great Huang ancient country to be so unruly and send you in. Don't you know that celestial being realm experts are not allowed to enter the 8 desolate secret region? Of course I know, but I didn't enter the 8 desolate secret region for you guys. Sunfeng smiled faintly and said, originally, I didn't want to reveal my identity, but I didn't expect a little girl like you to be so powerful. Since that's the case, I can only kill all of you to not affect my grand plan. Sunfeng said casually, but the bone-chilling coldness in his voice greatly changed the expressions of everyone from the great Xian ancient country. Soul-chasing Spear Sunfeng was a very dazzling name. He was the leader of the younger generation of the Great Huang ancient country 30 years ago. As a commoner, he defeated many geniuses and reached the top in one fell swoop. Legend has it that this person's willpower was firm, and his actions were ruthless. Since he commanded the royal army, countless people had died in his hands. Facing such a person, even Ji Shuiyao couldn't help but change her expression. Sunfeng, If you dare to attack us, you better think about the consequences. Ji Shuiyao's voice became incomparably cold. Consequences? Little girl, you don't need to worry about this. His Highness said that he wants you to be his woman, so you better obediently come here. Sun Feng's eyes revealed a trace of coldness as he soared through the air towards Ji Shuiyao. He grabbed at the void, exuding a vast and unparalleled aura. When he attacked, there was an earth-shattering momentum. Although he could only explode with the battle strength of a 9th-level Grandmaster, Sun Feng was still a Heaven Realm expert. His cultivation was unparalleled, far from what Ji Shuiyao could contend with. After all, the difference between the two was too great. Boom! Ji Shuiyao's expression changed. The ancient blue sword in her hand trembled, and rays of sharp light flickered as it slashed towards Sun Feng's wrist as fast as lightning. Clang! Sun Feng's 5 fingers were like the claws of an eagle, surrounded by a layer of black baleful aura. He directly grabbed the ancient blue sword, and a strange force emitted from it. Sparks flew in all directions as the ancient sword trembled. Ji Shuiyao felt her arm go numb, and the ancient sword in her hand almost flew out of her hand. Boom! Sun Feng's speed was extremely fast. After his attack succeeded, he circled behind Ji Shuiyao at a strange angle and slapped out with his palm. Clang! A bright light flashed, and the ancient blue sword trembled non-stop. This time, Ji Shuiyao could no longer hold the ancient sword in her hand, and it instantly flew out of her hand. She was also hit by Sun Feng's palm, and her entire body flew back dozens of feet. An abnormal flush appeared on her face. After all, she had just fought with Huang Yunji. Although Ji Shuiyao had won, she had paid a certain price. Moreover, Sun Feng was bare-handed, and the legendary soul-chasing spear did not appear. Chapter 254. Sun Feng, do you really want to kill all of us? Ji Shuiyao's voice was cold, and contained a suppressed anger. The people from the great mysterious ancient kingdom were extremely pale. Even Ji Shuiyao had been defeated, who could save them? Could it be that the people from the great mysterious ancient kingdom were going to die here? Don't worry, you won't die. His Highness will take good care of you. Princess Shuiyao, just obediently surrender. Sun Feng stood with his hands behind his back with an indifferent expression. His powerful aura locked onto Ji Shuiyao. Ji Shuiyao, you slut, I will definitely take good care of you. Huang Yunji's eyes were full of lust and desire as if he wanted to strip off all of Ji Shuiyao's clothes. Ji Shuiyao's face instantly paled. Her eyes revealed a trace of determination as she said, "If you want to fight, then let's fight. Even if I die, I won't let you get away with it." You want to die? That depends on whether you can die or not. Since Princess Shuiyao doesn't know how to appreciate favors, then don't blame me for being impolite. Sun Feng sneered and stepped forward in the air. His body emitted a cold and domineering aura that suppressed Ji Shuiyao. Each step seemed to cause the void to tremble. Ji Shuiyao and the people from the great mysterious ancient kingdom couldn't help but reveal a trace of despair on their faces. A dignified Heaven Realm expert actually dares to make a move against a Dragon Tiger Realm girl. Do you still have any shame? A lazy, casual, and clear voice resounded, causing everyone's expression to change as they looked towards the source of the voice. This was especially true for Ji Shuiyao and the people from the grand mysterious ancient kingdom. In the distant forest, a slender youth wearing snow-white clothes walked over. He looked to be around 15 or 16 years old, and was very handsome. At this moment, he had a grass vine hanging from the corner of his mouth. His smile was bright and he looked casual and carefree. Ling Xiao. Seeing this youth, Ji Shuiyao was the first to be stunned with a trace of astonishment in her eyes. Why is this guy here? He is only at the 4th level of the Dragon Tiger Realm. Okay, he is already at the 5th level of the Dragon Tiger Realm, but he is still at the bottom of the group. This brat really doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. What can he do here? Ji Shuiyao's eyes revealed a trace of worry. Ling Xiao, why are you alone? Could it be that the Grand Desolation Ancient Kingdom also wants to overestimate their own capabilities and reap the benefits of others? A cold light flashed in Huang Yunji's eyes. He looked behind Ling Xiao and saw that he was alone. No one else from the Grand Desolation Ancient Kingdom had appeared. When Sun Feng heard Ling Xiao's name, his eyes narrowed and he gave Ling Xiao a deep look. Don't worry, it's just me. I just can't bear to see you bully the weak and bully women. Why don't you give me some face and let Princess Shui Yao and the others go? Ling Xiao smiled casually as he walked over step by step. His eyes were calm, without the slightest hint of fear. Give you face? Who do you think you are? Zhang Qian, since this brat doesn't know what's good for him, kill him. Huang Yunji's eyes revealed a trace of killing intent as he coldly shouted. Yes. Suddenly, a young man with a sinister face jumped out from the great Huang ancient country. His eyes were like a poisonous snake. Although he was only at level 1 of the Grandmaster realm, the cold air he emitted made people shudder. Brat, you'll die if you meddle in other people's business. Since you're courting death, don't blame me for it. Zhang Qian sneered and threw a palm strike at Ling Xiao. Boom. Black innate chi surged and emitted a cold aura. A huge palm print came down from the sky, containing a strong murderous aura. In the face of this attack, Ling Xiao's expression remained unchanged. He was still calm as he walked over step by step. His body was shrouded in a layer of faint golden light, which made him look mysterious and majestic. There was a trace of mysterious qi flowing around him. Stop. Ji Shuiyao's eyes revealed a trace of anxiety as she hurriedly shouted. Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at level 5 of the Dragon Tiger realm. How could he be a match for Zhang Qian? Ji Shuiyao was grateful that this silly brat stood up for her. However, she would feel uneasy if Ling Xiao died because of this. Moreover, before she came to the 8 Desolation secret area, her sister had told her to take care of Ling Xiao if she met him. In a flash, Sun Feng stood in front of Ji Shuiyao and said indifferently, Princess Shuiyao, you can't even protect yourself. You should take care of yourself first. At the same time, Zhang Qian's palm strike had already landed on Ling Xiao's body. An extremely cold palm strike enveloped Ling Xiao. Boom. Ling Xiao did not even look at Zhang Qian. He did not even stop for a moment as he continued to walk forward calmly. When Zhang Qian's palm strike landed on Ling Xiao's body, it landed on the golden light and was unable to move forward. Then, an unparalleled divine force suddenly came back, accompanied by an earth-shattering dragon roar. It completely exploded. Roar. Zhang Qian issued a blood-curdling scream when the terrifying power erupted. His entire body was sent flying backwards at an even faster speed. His arms had exploded into a bloody mist in an instant. He was coughing up blood as he heavily smashed into the ground in the distance. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. After Ling Xiao had cultivated the Earth Dragon body, how terrifying was his physical strength. Even an elite of the Heaven Realm would be blasted apart by Ling Xiao if they fought with just their physical strength. Ling Xiao had still shown mercy. Otherwise, Zhang Qian would not have just lost his arms. His entire body would have been blasted into a fine powder. Seeing the scene in front of them, everyone was dumbfounded. Ling Xiao, who was at the 5th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, did not even make a move. Just the force of his physical body was enough to cripple the arms of a grandmaster. How abnormal was that? Everyone could not believe their eyes. They felt as if they were in a dream. Ji Shuiyao also widened her eyes in shock. Even she would not be able to injure Zhang Qian so severely without making a move. No wonder Ling Xiao dared to come alone. It turned out that he was very confident. Ji Shuiyao recalled that when they entered the Ba Huang secret area, she said that she would protect Ling Xiao. Now that she thought about it, it was a joke. Ling Xiao's true strength was stronger than hers. Only Sun Feng's eyes flashed. Although he had already expected Ling Xiao to be strong, such terrifying physical strength was still beyond his imagination. You. Who exactly are you? Huang Yunji's face revealed an expression as if he had seen a ghost. His voice unconsciously trembled. Chapter 255. Sun Feng, the soul-chasing spear? You're here for me, right? If that's the case, make your move. Ling Xiao ignored Huang Yunji and looked at Sun Feng calmly. His eyes were filled with a strong desire to battle. After cultivating the Earth Dragon body, Ling Xiao's physical body had reached a terrifying level. Hence, he wanted to see how big the gap was between him and a celestial realm elite. Sun Feng was the best touchstone for this. You're really smart. Sun Feng looked deeply at Ling Xiao. You're worthy of being able to defeat Shi Tianluo with your cultivation at the 3rd level of the Dragon Tiger realm. You should be proud that the Wanshou sect is so afraid of you that they're willing to pay the price to have me kill you. Sun Feng's words were like a bolt of lightning that shocked Ji Shuiyao and Huang Yunji. What? Ling Xiao defeated Shi Tianluo? Who was Shi Tianluo? He was one of the 7 disciples of the Wanshou sect, a peerless genius of the 8 Desolates region. Although he wasn't considered a top genius, he was still extremely terrifying. At the very least, Shi Tianluo could defeat all the young geniuses of the 4 great ancient nations. However, Sun Feng said that Shi Tianluo was defeated by Ling Xiao. Defeating Shi Tianluo, who was at the 6th level of the Grandmaster realm, at the 3rd level of the Dragon Tiger realm. This kind of terrifying talent made Ji Shuiyao pale in comparison. Ling Xiao defeating Shi Tianluo should have been a big event that would shock the entire 8 Desolates region. However, because it was only a short time ago and the 4 great ancient nations were very far away, Ji Shuiyao and Huang Yunji didn't know about it. Especially Huang Yunji. He originally thought that Sun Feng had come to the 8 Desolates' secret land to protect him. However, he now knew that Sun Feng's real purpose was to kill Ling Xiao. Kill me? You're not qualified. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a bright light flashed in his eyes. Even when facing a celestial realm elite, Ling Xiao didn't show the slightest fear. Instead, a strong desire to battle rose in his heart. He was a supreme being in his previous life, and was destined to rule the world in this life. What was a mere celestial realm elite to him? Arrogant. Sun Feng's eyes darkened as a powerful aura emanated from his body and suppressed Ling Xiao. Boom. Although he was unable to unleash the battle prowess of the celestial tier, Sun Feng had long since become one with the world and Zhou Tian as one. He was able to mobilize the power of heaven and earth with his human strength. Suddenly, the void trembled, and a cold and sharp qi locked onto Ling Xiao. It was as vast as the sea, and it wanted to force him to kneel. The reason why a celestial being realm expert could crush a master realm expert was not only because they could mobilize the power of heaven and earth, but also because they had comprehended the momentum of martial arts. With the momentum of the momentum, they were always successful. The force of heaven and earth on Sun Feng's body caused Ji Shuiyao, Huang Yunji, and the others' expressions to change as they retreated. Waves of air billowed and formless qi intertwined. Vast amounts of heaven and earth power gathered and pressed down on Ling Xiao. Scram! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he shouted. Instantly, a violent aura was awakened from Ling Xiao's body. It was domineering, ancient, majestic, and mysterious. Ling Xiao's gaze was as indifferent as steel. He was like a supreme being who looked down on the world, emitting a power that could make the heavens and earth tremble. Rumble! Formless auras collided, causing waves of energy to surge in the air. The earth trembled, and countless plants and rocks were turned into dust. The scene was astonishing. Roar! At the same time, a dragon's roar shook the clouds. Ling Xiao was bathed in golden light as his qi and blood surged. It was as if a blazing sun had formed behind his head. His black hair fluttered and his eyes were bright. His body seemed to be able to support the heavens and earth as he took a step forward. Bang! As if a heavenly drum had been struck, the earth trembled. The intertwined qi in front of Ling Xiao instantly became chaotic. Sun Feng's expression changed as he felt his qi and blood surging. How can this kid have such a terrifying aura? Sun Feng's eyes revealed a trace of shock, and his expression became very ugly. Martial artists cultivated the power of heaven and earth. When martial arts were cultivated to the extreme, they could form their own martial concept. When the martial concept was perfected, one could touch the power of heaven and earth, mobilize the momentum of heaven and earth, and comprehend the profound meaning of martial arts. The momentum here was the momentum of heaven and earth, the momentum of martial arts. Sun Feng originally wanted to use the momentum of heaven and earth to oppress Ling Xiao and make him kneel down. He wanted to win without a fight. After all, Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the Dragon Tiger realm. Although his battle prowess was strong, he was still far from a celestial realm powerhouse. However, he did not expect that not only was Ling Xiao not affected by Sun Feng's momentum of heaven and earth, but he also emitted an aura that shocked Sun Feng. Sun Feng faintly felt that he was not facing a young man, but a supreme master who could sweep through the world. He could not help but tremble in his heart. Bang! Ling Xiao took another step forward. His foot seemed to land on the node of the momentum of heaven and earth, causing Ling Xiao's aura to rise a little more. Bang! 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 Ling Xiao walked towards Sun Feng step by step. Every step he took made his aura stronger. It was as if the momentum of heaven and earth had gathered around Ling Xiao. It was as if the waves of the heavenly river were rolling in reverse, suppressing Sun Feng instead. Boom! Ling Xiao took 9 steps in a row. When the last step landed, the void instantly shook violently. Thunder boomed, and the vast power of heaven and earth condensed behind Ling Xiao, turning into a golden dragon-shaped wave of qi. With a roar, it suddenly pressed down on Sun Feng. Sun Feng's expression changed, revealing an abnormal flush. He instantly retreated more than 10 steps. With a palm across the sky, a palm print exploded, and only then did he manage to disperse the dragon-shaped air wave. Celestial realm powerhouse, that's all there is to it. Ling Xiao's gaze was sharp as he said indifferently. Sun Feng's gaze instantly turned gloomy. At the same time, a huge wave was set off in his heart. He was incomparably shocked. The clash of momentum between the two actually ended with him losing miserably. Ling Xiao only took 9 steps, and he was forced to make a move to disperse it. Therefore, he had completely lost. Ji Shuiyao and Huang Yunji were also stunned. Although they could not see the mystery of the clash of momentum, they could see that Sun Feng had lost in this formless clash. However, Sun Feng was an expert of the heaven realm. How could he lose to Ling Xiao? This simply overturned everyone's understanding, especially Ji Shuiyao. The corner of her mouth revealed a trace of a bitter smile, but her expression also became much more relaxed. The stronger Ling Xiao's battle prowess was, the greater the chance of the grand mysterious ancient kingdom's people escaping alive. Ji Shuiyao became more and more curious. What was the relationship between this youth and her sister? Sharp tongue. I want to see if your strength is as good as your mouth. Sun Feng's gaze was cold, revealing a trace of burning killing intent. The more monstrous Ling Xiao was, the more intense his killing intent was. He must kill Ling Xiao. Otherwise, when Ling Xiao matured, it would be an unimaginable disaster. Boom! Sun Feng's body emitted a powerful cultivation fluctuation. With a flash of light in his hand, a black war spear appeared, emitting a deep light and unparalleled sharpness. Soul-chasing spear. If you want to fight, then let's fight. What's with all the nonsense? Ling Xiao's eyes also revealed a trace of powerful battle intent. The blood in his body boiled as he urgently wanted to fight Sun Feng. Roar! That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.